Welcome to the October 7th, 2025 City Council meeting, 6:30 p.m. in the City Council chamber. Join me in the prayer. Dear God, today as the session opens, we pray that your presence will be before us and everyone who serves in the decision-making process of our city. We pray for direction, which lead our city to be strong and unified. May we continue the legacy of our founders. May we be granted this day the wisdom to make decisions which will be for the good of our city. We also pray for your special blessing on all those who are working to transform our city, make it a better place to live and work. Amen. Salute the flag. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Mr. Clerk, please call the roll.
Mayor Rourke.
Here.
Councilor Scott.
Here.
Councilor Yem.
Here.
Councilor Belanger.
Here.
Councilor Chow. Councilor Dakota.
Here.
Councilor Gitchia.
Here.
Councilor Janess.
Here.
Councilor Mercier.
Here.
Councilor Noon. Here. Councilor Robinson.
Here.
11 present.
Council Dakota.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. If I could have a moment in Docking Chambers for Kenneth Ronald McKenzie of Lowell, passed away on October 1st at home. He was married to Julie Hack McKenzie, who celebrated their 13th wedding anniversary on February 16th. He was born in Lowell. He was the beloved son of George McKenzie and Jermaine DeShane McKenzie. He graduated from Lowell High School with the class of 1964. While at Lowell High School, Kenny ran track. His passion for running would carry over as he ran many races locally. He served with the U.S. Navy during the Vietnam War on board the USS Boxer. He owned and operated the Highland Florist of Lowell. He later spent many years working for Flowers by Albert. He was a lifelong resident of Lowell. He enjoyed spending time with his family. Beside his wife, he was survived by one son, Sean McKenzie of Colorado, two daughters, Heather of Colorado and Kerry Cox of Colorado, and his stepdaughter. Stephanie and his stepdaughter, Stephanie Safan of Lowell, with whom he shared a home along with her children who loved him dearly. Also stepdaughter Safan Myth, his stepson Peck Myth. He has one cousin, George Duncan of Lowell, and many nieces and nephews and cousins. He also has 11 grandchildren. He was the brother of the late George McKenzie. Kenny also left many friends who were customers and co-workers at Enterprise Bank. Thank you.
Council Noon.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I would like to request this moment of silence in darkened chamber for our state senator, former mayor, our friend, Edward J. Kennedy. My first term on the Lowell City Council was City Councilor Kennedy's first term back on the council after a period of away from public service. During his first stint on the City Council in the 1976 and 1980, he worked hard to protect taxpayers and support economic development in the Central District, Business District, and throughout the city. He's also testified in Washington before Congress in support of the Lowell National Historical Park. Ed Kennedy returned to the City Council in 2012 and continued his work. He helped start the Lowell Waterway Vitality Initiative and advocate for Hampton Canal in the Bay District. When he became mayor, he showed real leadership, make sure the people of Lowell had a say in Lowell High School project. He worked every day to make sure and to ensure that the people's voice were heard, and it was. Councilor Kennedy became Senator Kennedy in 2018. He continued to advocate for the cause important to Lowell, including the high school project and those throughout the entire district. He fought for the Student Opportunity Act to ensure students in Lowell get a fair share of funding. During COVID, he led the state Senate recovery effort for art and culture. He's always support local organizations like UTEC, CTI, and was a champion for higher education at UMass Lowell and Middlesex Community College. He also did a lot to help the Cambodian community. He's ensured funding for nonprofit organizations like Uncle Dan Troop and CMAA. And he's also filed a state Senate resolution in support of free and fair election in Cambodia because the people of Lowell asked him to do it. By that time, he was more than a colleague. He was my friend. He was not just a great man, he was an awesome guy. Best storyteller with best sense of humor. He cared about people. And if you were his friend, you knew it because he showed it. He loved his family very much and was very proud to be called Graham by his grandsons. My thought go out to his wife, Susan, his daughter, Christina, and her husband, Matthew, his son, Eddie, and his wife, Ashley, and his grandsons, Jackson, Braden, and Alice, as well as all of his friends and family and loved ones. We all will very much miss Senator Ed Kennedy. May he rest in peace.
Thank you. Mr. Chow?
Mr. Mayor, thank you. I want to thank Councillor Nguyen for reading the memorial in detail. I just want to briefly add that Lowell and the region lost a great one this week. I've known Senator Ed Kennedy since my former life in the private sector. We ran the mortgage business, as the city manager might have known, back to the late 1990s. And I met him because he was our commercial appraiser. And we developed good friendship ever since. Just a great person, a great leader. In general, always been very, very supportive. One thing I miss about most, I think I've known him most for the work that he does professionally, but I got to know him personally and professionally along with his wife Susan on our delegation trip to Kalamata, Greece. We're always going to remember that. The Greek community, as well as the city of Kalamata, the mayor over there, they sent their regards to his family. It was just a great person that just know how to connect everyone. We all will miss him. Thank you.
Mr. Clerk, Secretary in the Chamber?
Mr. Mayor, actually, I did not know if somebody else had another memorial. I do have a moment of silence that I'd like to read separately from a different person. I'd like to read a moment of silence. This is for the mother of a friend of mine and a former UMass Lowell athlete. The friend, she was the first Cambodian American woman that I recruited. I do the USA Cambodia Basketball Association, which recruit Cambodian American athletes to represent Cambodia and compete with 11 or 13 other Southeast Asian countries. And her mother, just such a great person, she passed away a couple of weeks ago. I'd like to read this in her honor. I'd like to offer a moment of silence in darkened chamber to honor the life of Dariza Da Chan, 53 of Lowell, who peacefully passed away at her home on Saturday, September 13, 2025. Dariza courageously fought cancer for 17 years, facing each day with strength, optimism, and love. Born in Battambang, Cambodia, she came to the United States as a refugee at age 12. Throughout her youth, she balanced school with working long hours in her family's donut shop, all while pursuing a brighter future. Dariza dedicated her career to serving others, working in property management, elder services, legal services, and with the Asian Task Force Against Domestic Violence. She was a compassionate advocate, helping vulnerable individuals access critical resources and supporting her community with kindness and respect. A devoted member of Wat Samaki Temple, Dariza gave countless volunteer hours, finding joy in her faith and the growth of the temple as a gathering place for the community. Beyond her work and faith, she cherished simple pleasures, coffee, walks, floral arrangement, cooking, and sharing meals with loved ones. Dorisa is survived by her daughter, Seema Suan, the former UMass Lowell athlete and now is one of the athletic directors at UMass Lowell. Her daughter-in-law, Ashley Bencourt, sister Mom Chan, brothers David, Ta, and Ken Chan, nephews Vinny Ngok and Tony Chan, and his beloved grandchildren, Anthony, Connor, Maya, and Tyson. She will be deeply missed by all who knew her. Dorisa's life reminds us to live each day with kindness, decency, and respect for one another. Thank you.
Councilor Marcia?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I'd like to offer a moment of silence in darkened chamber for Joseph Semeo, husband of Philomena Semeo, with whom he shared 35 years of marriage. Joe was born in Graciosa, Azores, Portugal, and settled in Lowell, where he became an integral part of the local community. Joe was a member of the Bricklayers Union, where he, like his father before him, was instrumental in the construction of schools. Joe manifested the American dream with a true enterprising spirit. He expanded upon his construction talent, building real estate portfolio and opening several successful businesses in Lowell, including Semeo's Construction, Semeo's Realty and Sons, Semeo Hideaway, the Four Seasons Restaurant, Pioneer Liquor, and Europa Cafe, all in Lowell. Joe was a longtime communicant of St. Anthony's Parish in Lowell, the Holy Ghost Society, the Holy Trinity, the Portuguese American Center Blues Club, and the Portuguese American Civic League Red Club. He leaves a legacy of generosity that will resonate for generations. Upon his immigration to the United States, he never forgot his roots and what it took to succeed in assimilating to a new culture. He saw himself and other immigrants who were searching for the American dream, and he helped build opportunity by offering work or lending a helping hand when no one else could or would. He was not only active in the Portuguese American community, but also in local politics and was a longtime supporter of the Lowell Police Department. In addition to his wife, Philomena, he is survived by 3 children, Karen, Joe Jr., and Evelyn, as well as his 4 grandchildren. We offer our condolences to his family, relatives, and his many friends. I'd also like to offer a moment of silence in darkened chamber to all those who passed away since our last City Council meeting. May they all rest in peace. Amen. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay. Mr. Clerk, Dr. Chamber? May they rest in peace. Section 2, Mayor's Business 2.1, Communication for Remote Zoom Participation. Motion to accept the place on file by Council Belanger, second by Council Chow. All in favor say aye. Opposed, motion passes. Section 3, City Clerk 3.1, minutes of the City Council regular meeting September 23rd. Environmental and Flood Issues Subcommittee joint with Neighborhood Subcommittee September 30th for acceptance. Motion to accept the place on file by Council Getchia, second by Council Dakota. All in favor say aye. Opposed, motion passes. Not being 7 o'clock yet, we'll skip ahead to the City Council motions. Which 6, City Council motion, 6.1, Council Noon. Request City Manager have the Director of Elections provide a report on any irregularities, issues, or concerns that arose from the preliminary election, and outline what steps are being taken to address them. Second by Councilor Jeunesse. Council Noon.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I heard some of the issues and concerns with the voter that come to the poll and got, turned back, go different location, and was at the end, didn't know where to vote. So there's other issues there. I know that the general election is coming up. Any of those concern issues that I'm sure the Director of Election know about as well, so we can address it before the general election. Thank you.
All in favor say aye. Opposed, motion passes. 6.2, Council Noon. Request City Manager have the Director of Elections take steps to help increase voter turnout in the general election. Second again by Council Jeunesse. Council Noon.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. The turnout, as you probably seen, the turnout in preliminary election is deplorable. We need to do something. We need to get a turnout a little bigger than that, if not, decent enough. Working with all those nonprofit that, promoting civic engagement and getting out people and stuff to get this information out so that people know that election's coming up November 4th. Thank you.
Dr. Janes?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I appreciate the motion by my colleague, and I just wanted to ask the city manager if we could, maybe be a little early on the A-frames and the signs and that kind of stuff. And then the only other thing I would say is just in some of my discussions, it came up that might be a good thing going forward for the elections department to have a bit of a marketing budget to be able to do some more outreach and things as we approach further elections. So if we just want to, put a pin in that to come back at budget time, just something to consider, might be a good idea, might help the city. Thank you.
Dr. Getcha?
Through you, Mr. Mayor, to the Manager Golden. Do you know what other communities do? Could we look at some other communities and try to put a base to it with this?
Other communities are less than us. Mr. Manager, go ahead.
Thank you very much, Mr. Mayor, through the council. Council, we are looking at, all the councils have talked about this. We're looking at employing the MMB boards, the orange boards earlier, much earlier than as opposed to just a week. I was talking to Assistant City Manager about this. When does it, is 2 weeks too early? Is 3 weeks too early? We're trying to figure that out as far as when people are going to notice. We're also looking from a marketing perspective. Mr. Rojas has been looking at some signs in every, this won't be for today, but we can indeed look to put more of the quote-unquote sandwich boards out to kind of remind people. We're thinking probably a week in advance, but the MMB boards, which are the large orange boards that everyone's familiar with, we're going to try to go a little bit earlier than that to kind of remind people, maybe a countdown type situation. But as I was mentioning, Ms. DeRosa is actually looking for something that she's working with the CFO on, as well as Mr. St. Cyr, that every district have a kind of a sign that we have out in front of schools, for instance, right? Something that in the future, anything that's happening within the city, whether it be a snow ban or anything like that, would be looking to put it in 8 distinct locations throughout the city where maybe anything that's going on throughout the city would be helpful. So we have been thinking about this and how to get this, how to accomplish this as far as financially, to your question or point, Councilor Janess. So we have been thinking about trying to get this done. I did meet up with, I missed actually meeting with our elections director, but we'll be talking later on this week to find out what else we can do to try to push up some of the voter turnout.
Does the 311 app have the capability of sending something in reverse to people who have used it? That would say, remind them?
Mr. Mayor.
Good.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, through the council. That's something, good idea. We can find that out. But we typically wouldn't use the 911 reverse.
No, the
like
three,
that.
the
311.
Yeah.
Maybe that's something we can utilize. Let's take a look at that. I'll make sure that Mr. Machado takes a peek.
Yeah, because I'm just wondering if it has the capability of doing a reverse email back or a reverse text to somebody who's given you their number or something through it. I'm sure it does some way, so thank you.
All those in favor, Councilor Scott?
Just a quick comment. I did bring up to Mr. Roja, there's subtext that a lot of towns use, that it's a text service that you log into, that you subscribe to, and then you get reminders for all different community happenings and events. So it's just something that we could look at. Thank you.
All in favor, say aye. Opposed, motion passes. 6.3, Councilor Noon, request city manager, place Caleb Street on the paving list. Seconded by Councilor Mercia. Councilor Noon.
Mr. Mayor, the motion speaks for itself.
All in favor, say aye. Opposed, motion passes. 6.4, Councilor Dakota, request city manager install sidewalks on the odd number of side of Campbell Drive from Wedge Street to West Forest Street for the 26-27 fiscal year budget. Seconded by Councilor Getchia.
There are registered speakers, Mr. Mayor.
Mr. Clerk.
Kathy Dillon.
Hello, my name is Kathy Dillon. I live at 657 Stevens Street. As most of you will remember, I've spoken several times explaining the need for these sidewalks and crosswalks for the safety of over 600 students attending the Bailey and the Daly schools. I just want to highlight a few points. I submitted over 100 signatures from parents of students who support sidewalks. While others have the luxury to avoid these areas at certain times, Students and parents not only cannot avoid them, but are required to use them every day getting to and from school. I'm hopeful the city engineers will be allowed to continue their work that was started in the response to our first request when it was stated, only minimal widening, and I'm quoting this, only minimal widening of the existing 28-foot pavement width of Campbell Drive would be necessary if sidewalks were provided. No property takings would be required, and impacts to utility poles could likely be avoided. Moving forward, we need to communicate this information to the neighbors. I don't think that's been done. I am confident with proper continued communication with the neighbors, this project can be implemented, taking the neighborhood concerns into consideration while creating a safe route to school for our children. I appreciate the city's recent efforts to look at alternative traffic flow, but that cannot be in place of sidewalks on the very street the school is located on. I'm assuming that clip is not available, Mr. Geary, so we won't show that again.
Yeah, I don't believe.
Yep, that's okay. I do have photos again, and I know many of you have seen them, but I would like to pass them along, just so those that have not seen them, I don't know if they made their way up to the mayor and the city manager. But with that said, please look at those photos. It's a telling example of what it looks like every single day going to and from school. So in the spirit of timing, recently posted on Facebook, the City of Lowell is proud to recognize October as National Pedestrian Safety Month. So how appropriate, tonight's motion will hopefully prioritize this project and get us on the list. This council on 2 occasions has already fully supported the need for these sidewalks, and I'm asking tonight for you to support this motion to include sidewalks on Campbell Drive in the 2026-27 fiscal budget. And I'm asking City Manager Golden to prioritize this and find a way to include this in that 26-27 budget. Thank you.
Councilor Dakota?
There's another registered speaker, Mr. Mayor. Lisa Golden.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, Manager, Councilors. Lisa Golden. I live at 47 Campbell Drive, and this has been going on for about a year and a half. So we did have a meeting about a year and a half ago at the Bailey School, and a few of the councilors were there. And initially, this was proposed at the odd side of the street. Now this is being proposed at the even side of the street. Now it's being proposed at the odd side of the street. So when this motion came up last week, I did call Councilor Dakota and a few people, and now Mrs. Dillon just spoke and said that they are not taking part of the property. It's been told to me that we are taking part of the property. So just so that people know, I do own a retaining wall, so the retaining wall will be taken down, and part of my property will be taken because of this. I've lived in my house for 27 years, so I would like to know sooner than later what this will mean for my property and what I will be responsible for and how much this will cost me. So I'd just like to know that this has been going on for a year and a half. I'd like to have some work done on my house, and I'd like to know what I'm going to be responsible for, so I don't want to pay for work on my house and then have it be dug up in a year and a half, 2 years. I believe that the Assistant City Manager and DPW, Director of DPW said this was 3 years out. Now we're talking about a year and a half or 2 years out. So if people are having work done on their house, now it's going to be dug up and then we're going to be responsible for things. So I'd just like to know sooner than later what it's going to cost to the homeowner, the taxpayer. The other thing is that moving forward, I do pay for snow removal for my driveway. So we're going to be responsible for removing the snow on the sidewalk, so I'm going to have to pay for that snow removal going forward as well. So it is an added expense in my pocket as well. So I just wanted to bring that to your attention. Thank you.
Councilor Dakota?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Unfortunately, I was unable to attend the September 7th meeting due to preliminary elections, but I know that Councilor Getchier, Councilor Janess, and Councilor Mercier spoke extensively on this topic, and the pictures that you have were broadcasted live on LTC. Yes, it's been a long journey, there's no question. In fact, I pick up my granddaughter there majority of the week and understand what's going on there. We had a meeting last Friday at the Bailey School. In fact, Mr. St. Cyr, Mr. Gleason, and Mr. Beatty were there. And if I'm not mistaken, they started surveying the area yesterday. But ultimately, as the District 8 City Councilor, I think the onus of responsibility to me is the safety of the children. It's that simple. And I think we've taken up enough time here by postponing it that this needs to get done. And I know this is a heavy lift, City Manager Golden, but this is all about the kids. It really is. So I thank you very much.
Councilor Getchia?
Thank you, Mayor Rourke. Just to clarify some statements from some of the speakers, that we were all told that there were no land takings in the preliminary design that went on. Is that correct, through you, Mr. Mayor and the Manager?
Mr. Manager?
Yes, that was correct. We would need to get back into that. We're also, not everybody on Campbell Drive is in favor of this. So it is difficult at times when you're moving in this direction, when we're going out with a thought process that everybody's in favor, and then we start to get pushback. As you know, councilors, we had an idea to do temporary sidewalks. The temporary sidewalks were to see if it actually worked. Meanwhile, we've been pushing, and thank you, Ms. Dillon, for bringing this up. We're looking in the rear of the Daly and the Bailey School to find out if there is an ability for us to take some of the traffic, i.e. more than likely school buses, out of the area, therefore lowering the congestion in that area, and maybe at some point opening up another opportunity for what I will call is the circular driveway in front of the Bailey. So that's something that we're still, this is an active piece. It's not like anyone is sitting back sleeping on this. I think every councilor knows here that creating sidewalks is not an easy thing. It takes a couple of years for us to get moving on this. But there was I think we went into a sense that everybody was in favor, and we're finding out that that is a little bit different. That doesn't mean, Councilor Dakota, to your point, the safety of the children is important, but we haven't stopped working on this since probably over the past year.
In all the time that we've been going through this, and we've had multiple meetings, I haven't seen one person say no to them at the meetings. And I haven't had anybody contact me and say no. I did have people contact me and say they didn't like the temporary. When you go down there and you look at the infrastructure and you look at the entrance to the Bailey School, you'll see on the right-hand side where the odd numbers are, there's two homes that actually have a sidewalk in front of it. And I call it like the stairs that used to be on Chelmsford Street, the sidewalk to nowhere. It just dumps off like there's no thought process to it. And that's the concerning piece, is if you go down there and you look at the odd side, the left-hand side, the opposite side of the school itself, it has no parking signs on it. So the even side has the no parking signs. The closest side to the school has no parking signs. So you have to drop your child off on the odd side and let them walk across the street to get to the side that the school's on, which doesn't really make much sense to me. So you're dropping your child off in the middle of a road and walking across, and then there's two homes that have a sidewalk in front of them, and there's no sidewalk on the other end. So, lawns are being trampled if you're getting to a lawn because people are pulling right up on other people's lawns and trying to go. So it absolutely needs to be looked at, especially on safe routes to schools. And you're saying, okay, we're going to protect kids. When it gets really bad weather and we make decisions to send students to school, there's a challenge there. Rain is worse than snow, I hate to tell everybody. People cannot drive in the rain. And when you look at it, I just think that we have to make a tough decision. And the tough decision is that it looks like the sidewalks would be the thing to do to get people into a safe area as quick as possible onto a sidewalk. Thank you.
just have a quick question. Has anybody talked to the residents on the other side of Kimball Drive? Has gone down the street?
We've had meetings, passed out things, Mayor Rook. You can't force people to meetings. I mean, and then people, it's like here, you know, we sit here day in and day out. We make decisions here. We don't have anybody come up to the podium and speak. Or they don't call us, and then the next day they tell us how bad we are. If somebody has an open communication, we're all readily available.
Councilor knocked on doors and asked, or someone from the city knocked on doors and asked?
They have. They got a petition here that had multiple signatures all over it that they went to the doors. Some of the people on that side are on that petition. So that's the doors were knocked. But if anyone's been out knocking doors lately, it's very, very hard to get someone to open their door for you today because of the solar people.
Even you, Councilor?
It's happened every day. And I just want to compliment you on that beautiful tie you have.
Councilor Noon?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Thank you, Councilor Dakota. I know Councilor Gutierrez has filed a similar motion in the past. It's frustrated, I understand. It's frustrated. Mr. Dillon has come all the time here. Not so much about her, I guess. It's about other children as well, all the children at the school that travel to that school. I'm not sure if the meeting has been seized, or I would urge that the administration is reconvene the meeting and look at it in a sense of urgency. I know that you're not going to build a sidewalk this winter, but at least start it, that conversation now. I'd be more than happy. I'd be volunteer myself to knock on that door, people's door again and again, so that there's a meeting happen. Me and Eric and Councilor Gutierrez and maybe Councilor Dakota as well will do it. Let's make it happen, because it's the safety of our children travel to and from school. Thank you.
All in favor say aye. Opposed, motion passes. Being 7 p.m., we'll go to the general public hearings. 4.1, ordinance to amend Chapter 266, vehicles and traffic. First reading, second reading ordinance, amending the Code of Ordinances, City of Lowell, Massachusetts, with respect to Chapter 266, entitled Vehicles and Traffic, by amending various sections. We'll start the meeting by all those speak in favor. In favor, in favor. Portion of the meeting is closed. All those in opposition. 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 That portion of the meeting is closed. Motion to adopt by Councilor Robinson, second by Councilor Yem. Questions or comments? Councilor Robinson.
Thank you. I'm glad to see that we're kind of moving forward and consolidating the ability to flex with, I mean, as we're all well aware, I think parking, traffic, all of these kind of things hit the council routinely, and I think it's long overdue. One thing that I hope moving forward to look at in the future would be to look at, would it be feasible to bring a sign department that we already have and provide them with the resources to do our own signs in-house? Based on what we're spending, I think it's something that your team could look at and see, is it fiscally sound to bring that in-house as opposed to what we're going out and paying for signage, because with the 25-mile-an-hour speed signs and everything else going on, I think it could make sense.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, through to the council. Just a clarifying question. Councilor, so we do most of the signs, but you're right, we do purchase the signs when we put them up. But I'm also thinking from a perspective of line painting and stuff like that. Would that be okay if we look at that as well? Because that's what I just want to make sure that we're going all in on something like that. Thank you.
Roll call.
Mayor Rourke.
Yes.
Councilor Scott.
Yes.
Councilor Yem.
Yes.
Councilor Belanger.
Yes.
Councilor Chow.
Yes.
Councilor Dakota.
Yes.
Councilor Gitchia.
Yes.
Councilor Janess.
Yes.
Councilor Mercia.
Yes.
Councilor Noon.
Yes.
Councilor Robinson.
Yes.
11 yeas.
Items 5.1 to 5.5, this would be the motion to refer to the wire inspector for report recommendation. 5.1, National Grid requests installation of one utility pole with a recloser at 501 Bridge Street. All those speak in favor, in favor, in favor. Portion of the meeting is closed. All those in opposition, opposition. That portion of the meeting is closed. Motion to refer to wire inspector by Councilor Scott, second by Councilor Noon. All those in favor say aye. Opposed, motion passes. 5.2, National Grid requests installation of one utility pole with a recloser at 58 Methuen Street. All those in favor, in favor, in favor. Portion of the meeting is closed. All those in opposition, opposition, opposition. That portion of the meeting is closed. Motion to refer to wire inspector by Councilor Scott, second by Councilor Janess. All those in favor say aye. That passes. 5.3, National Grid requests installation of one utility pole with a recloser at 12th to 14th 12th Street. All those in favor, favor, in favor. Portion of the meeting is closed. All those in opposition, opposition, opposition. That portion of the meeting is closed. Motion to send to the wire inspector by Councilor Dakota, second by Councilor Belanger. All those in favor, say aye. Opposed, motion passes. 5.4, Boston Gas. Request installation of a replacement gas main on Mammoth Road at Columbia Road. All those who wish to speak in favor, in favor, in favor. The portion of the meeting is closed. All those in opposition, opposition, opposition. That portion of the meeting is closed. Motion to refer to the wire inspector by Councilor Robinson, seconded by Councilor Janess. All those in favor say aye. Opposed, motion passes. And 5.5, Boston Gas. Request relocation of existing gas main on Lakeview Ave and Bunker Hill Ave. We'll start, all those speak in favor, in favor, in favor. Portion of the meeting is closed. All those in opposition, opposition, opposition. That portion of the meeting is closed. Motion to refer to wire inspector by Councilor Mercia, second by Councilor Dakota. All those in favor say aye. Opposed, motion passes. Returning to the motion list.
Mr. Manager? Mr. Mayor, go ahead.
Mr. Mayor, I'd like to make a motion to take 7.4 out of order. We have
Motion by Councilor Valens, take 7.4 out of order, second by Chow. All in favor say aye. Opposed, motion passes. 7.4, communication, to adopt new members to various boards and commissions. We have Brendan Conroy to the Lowell Cultural Council, Deborah Callery, Hunger and Homeless Commission, Haley Barrett, Hunger and Homeless Commission, and Cyan Halliday, Citizen Advisory Committee. The motion to approve by Councilor Janess, second by Councilor Yem. Roll call, Mr. Clerk.
Mr. Mayor, just a quick question.
Yes.
This is through you to the manager. I noticed a couple of these are expiring in just a few months, January 26th. Is this like an unexpired term or replacing? Okay. So is what it is? Okay. Thank you.
Roll call, Mr. Clerk.
Mayor Rourke.
Yes.
Councilor Scott.
Yes.
Councilor Yem.
Yes.
Councilor Belanger.
Yes.
Councilor Chow.
Yes.
Councilor Dakota.
Yes.
Councilor Getchia.
Yes.
Councilor Janess.
Yes.
Councilor Mercia.
Yes.
Councilor Noon.
Yes.
Councilor Robinson.
Yes.
11 yeas.
Mr. Conroy.
Good evening, everybody. My name is Brendan Conroy. I live at 31 Lundberg Street. I've lived in Lowell for about 10 years now. I bought a home here about 5 years ago. My wife, Megan, and I are both arts and culture workers. We've both been working in that sector in Massachusetts for about 10 or 15 years now, all over the place, from the Berkshires to the South Coast, all the way up to here, Metro West, a little bit of everything from live theater to live events to fine arts. And I currently work in the exhibits department at the Boston Children's Museum. And I'm just very excited to join the Cultural Council and be able to have an opportunity to be part of shaping the cultural vision of the community I'm so happy to be a part of. So thank you very much for welcoming me, and I look forward to serving.
All right. Councilor Chow.
Mr. Mayor, since we're on the topic of moving up items up the agenda, if the chair of this subcommittee were to make a report, I request to move up 10.1 up the agenda, please.
By Councilor Chow, second by Councilor Getchia, take 10.1 out of order. All those in favor say aye. Opposed, motion passes. 10.1, Environmental and Flood Issues Subcommittee, joint with Neighborhood Subcommittee, September 30th, 2025. Chairman Getchia.
Thank you, Mayor Rourke. The Environmental and Flood and Neighborhood Subcommittees met on September 30th, 2025 at 6 p.m. in the City Council chambers. Present was the Environmental and Flood Subcommittee Chairman Belanger, Councilor Robinson, Councilor Yem, Neighborhood Subcommittee Chair myself, and Councilor Janess. Others present were Lowell Fire Department Chief Sharon, Lowell Fire Department Jason Carmel, Sustainability Director Catherine Moses, Executive Director of Water and Wastewater Aaron Fox. The Markley Group presented to the subcommittee a PowerPoint outlining Markley's purchase of the property in 2015. They've invested $350 million in the site, over 20 local and 7 state permits acquired, with over $3 million spent in permitting fees to the city. They highlighted over 100 employees in Lowell and 100 union workers on site. They support the innovation goals of front-runner city initiatives. Currently, they have a fuel storage permit from the Lowell Fire Department for 71,000 gallons of diesel fuel. The proposed amendment would add 96,700 gallons of diesel fuel for a total of 167,000 700 gallons. The generators exist in the case of a complete loss of utility power. The generators run on an average of 5 minutes per week for testing and have one annual 2-hour test. Markley stated all DEP requirements have been met. Residents spoke on health concerns in a dense neighborhood, the trust issues over the last 10 years, alternate fuels should be explored. In general, every neighbor who spoke against the addition of 96,700 gallons of diesel fuel. There were 2 questions from the neighbors. One, how much diesel fuel is in the 16 generators that were test run? Firefighter Carvalho indicated there was 1,500 gallons in each, or 25%, and they only had 4 of them with it, so there were 6,000 additional gallons on site. The other question was, is there any data used on the energy use from Markley? The Director of Sustainability, Catherine Moses, responded with, no, we do not have any data. The state large building energy disclosure order and the data would be released in the last quarter of the year, but Markley could not, would not, or did not share it with the city, but it is not likely that they would. The Sustainability Director, Catherine Moses, also stated no one has reached out to her since the last council meeting when it was requested that before they went forward that they would reach out to her. Many of the subcommittee members asked questions and raised concerns with the addition of the 96,700 gallons of diesel. A motion was made by Chairperson Belanger and seconded by Councilor Robinson to refer the matter to a full city council to set a public hearing regarding this petition at its earliest convenience, which would be October 21st. Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Mr. Clerk?
William Martin.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Attorney William Martin. I represent Markley Law Offices at 491 Dutton Street in Lowell. I want to thank the councilors who came to the subcommittee, including the subcommittee members. As the chairman indicated, there were a number of issues discussed. A number of councilors expressed concerns and were looking for Markley to complete some projects. I don't need to go into them all now, but for example, there's a noise attenuation installation project scheduled to be completed by the end of October. We have information from our contractor that could be delayed a week or 2. So I'm all in favor of this matter going to a public hearing. Would just request that we pick a date, maybe 30 days or more, the first available or convenient date 30 days from now, to give us a chance to complete some of the projects that the council would like to see completed before entertaining this permit request.
Thank you. Councilor Robinson?
Thank you. I attended the walkthrough at the Markley, and a lot of these things were raised by the neighbors at the time, and that was back in like June. It seems like now we're in the 11th hour, and the urgency came from Markley. They came to us requesting this approval on 16, and now they're saying they need more time. Why would you come forward with the 16? And then I look in the packet today, and we've had regional wastewater identify an issue that's been caused as a result of work that's been on Markley's property, and they straight up rejected the proposal on September 22nd by our Lowell Regional Wastewater Utility, and tried to counter-propose to put water that's coming from their property into our stormwater sewer overflow, and wastewater completely agrees. So, I mean, I think if Markley came forward asking us for the 16 generator approval, and it seemed like it was fast-tracked and streamlined, don't you think the work should have been done before that ask was even put in our lap? So I can't entertain delaying this public hearing. I think we've heard loud and clear from the neighborhood. We've stretched it out and went to a subcommittee to try to work through a lot of this stuff. And the one thing that really stood out to me was when our sustainability director said she found out about this request the same time the council did on the agenda, when we had been asking right along to facilitate a two-way working relationship and clear communication with the sustainability director as well as the neighbors. So I personally cannot support that this time. Thank you.
Councilor Getcha?
I'd like to make a motion, as the subcommittee asked, to have the hearing on the 21st of this month.
Second by Councilor Scott. Councilor Mercer?
Mr. Mayor, when this joint subcommittee was meeting, I came to the podium and I outlined about maybe 5 different things that should be corrected. And one of them, Attorney Martin did talk about, was the noise mitigation. And he said that it would start sometime in October, but finish it like towards the ending of October. And I couldn't make a motion as a private citizen on the other side of the rail, but I did ask if it were possible that the subcommittee delay this to let Markley correct the things that the neighbors had concerns of. And I thought it would take longer than a month. But that seems like what we were going to do tonight. But now you want it October 21st, when I don't think the mitigation of the noise is going to be finished. I don't mind supporting something if someone promises the neighbors and says, we're going to do this, we're going to do that. I can't support something unless it's been done. So that's why I came to the podium and said that. So now I don't know. Now I'm hearing October 21st, and I don't think that's enough time to allow that to be done.
Yeah, I mean, just like procedure-wise, I guess I'd ask the city solicitor, if Markley's not ready to go forward, or anybody, could just pull it for the public hearing and bring it back again in a month or two?
I'm sorry, can you say that again?
Could they just pull it and then bring it back in a month or two?
Yeah, I suppose they could. You know, at the end of the day, there isn't any, you know, the statute doesn't provide for a certain amount of time or a timeline when it comes to when the public hearing is to be. So, yeah, there's some flexibility there for the council.
Okay. Let's get you good.
You know, it's sad that we're at this stage again. When we sat down the first time we met with Markley, they promised us everything. They said they wouldn't come back. Then they came back as arrogant as can be with 96,700, 16 generators, and didn't say anything. We all read it in our packet on a Friday. And then we sat here and say, okay, we're going to give them another chance. We did. We said, don't come back until this is fixed. Then here we are again saying, okay, give us another month. For 10 years, this neighborhood's been waiting another month. For 10 years. And then when you ask the director of water and wastewater about a tie-in, normally you want water at the end of a road to run into non-pervious ground. That's why it was designed that way, because when Prince and everything was there, that's where water just flowed into. You want that to go into its natural setting. Water and wastewater go over and ask Markley, hey, can we tie in as a partner? And they say no. Everything is no on the city side, and here we go again. And I personally think that if the will of the body is, it should be to move forward. And if Markley doesn't want to do it and pulls it, that's okay by them. Thank you.
Can I just ask a quick question to, quick question to Mr. Martin? Do you have a date where you know it's going to be completed by?
Our contract for completion of the work is the end of the month.
Of October?
Yes.
Thank you.
Mr. Mayor, can we ask what is being completed while Mr. Martin is here? The full scope of what will all be completed by that time?
So it's a lengthy list, Counselor, and a lot of things are in progress. We expect, as indicated at the subcommittee meeting, you know, this dirt pile will not be probably fully brought down to to surface level by the end of the year, but we do expect significant progress on that. The Bourne Street thing, we just don't have the capacity to tie in stormwater into the existing system, but we are continuing to explore a solution with wastewater. So some of these things we think we'll have done by the end of the month or whatever date in November the council deems convenient. Others are likely to continue. However, those things don't all have to do with the issuance of a fuel permit. But we're going to try to do what the council wants here and complete as much of these projects as we can.
Attorney Martin, you've been on this side of the fence. You understand our frustration when we deal with people saying one thing, and again, we said they were going to be completed. We're hearing, well, not really completed. We're hearing, okay, the soil may be removed, some of it will be removed. Is that one shovel is going to be removed? I don't know the answer. At the end of the day, we had a list going on, and Mayor Rook, if it's a wish of the body to just pass it through, I'm okay with it. But at the end of the day, the list will not be completed in a month. And we won't be much further than we already are in 2 weeks. It's just going to get continued to the neighbors, continued, and it doesn't look good on this
What is the
body.
goal, to help out the neighborhood and do what's right, or is the goal just to vote it down and move along? I mean, like, if the whole goal here is to make the neighborhood happy, give them time to make the neighborhood happy.
Doesn't the neighborhood, aren't they the voters, aren't they the people who run the city?
Yeah, so
Okay.
if they have the concerns, they bring them to the subcommittee.
They did. They did 3 times and nothing got
to
done.
get it done.
Yeah.
3 times and they've been fighting. And then they come here and it's like, let's load up 12 people to speak about something that's not getting done. And why and we'll put experts in front of us. I understand, but at the end of the day, I'm sure Attorney Martin understands our frustration from every phone call that comes every day.
The goal is to make the neighborhood happy. I think we should give them time to make that happen. Councilor Noon?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I'm happy to hear from Attorney Martin that Markley have started work on the noise issues. That shouldn't have to stop or postpone the public hearing. Certainly, the public hearing is we're going to hear some issue, concern, and comment. We can have a list of conditions. I see the planning board and zoning board done all the time. As condition of approval, this is you have to do the dirt pile, the storm water, the air quality, the noise, and so on and so forth. Make those lists and come back in 5 months for review. We've done that all the time. We don't need to postpone the public hearing. We can continue the public hearing, and of course, the work on the noise issue continue to be work. And the condition of that approval, we list all those conditions, come back for 5 months, review. And if you not meet this, then we pull the permit. We've done that all the time in zoning and planning board. Why can't we do it here on this council? Yes, we can, and we should.
Councilor Scott?
Thank you. I'd just like to address the comment, give them time to make them happy. They have had more time than any group should have. And honestly, from what I've witnessed in the neighborhood, nothing has been done until it's been forced to be done. That's the experience that I've witnessed. That's the experience that the neighbors have witnessed. It should move forward for a public hearing. Thank you.
Roll call, Mr. Clerk?
Mayor Rourke.
No.
Council Scott.
Yes.
Council Young.
Yes.
Council Belanger.
Yes.
Council Chow.
No.
Council Dakota.
Yes.
Council Getchia.
Yes.
Council Janess.
Yes.
Council Mercia.
Yes.
Council Noon.
Yes.
Council Robinson.
Yes.
Anything else out of order?
Mr. Mayor, while we're under suspension of the rules and Mr. Martin is still here, I think it'd be wise to take motion response S about Bourne Street.
Motion response S by Councilor Janess, second by Councilor Getchia. All in favor say aye. Opposed, motion passes. Motion response S, Bourne Street. Councilor Getchia and Councilor Scott.
There is a registered speaker on that? I gotta get him in. I gotta get him in here, hold on. He's on Zoom, he's just coming in now, hang on. Oh, there he is. Jake Fortes? Jake Fortes?
There you are. Okay, yep. Hold on one quick second here. Hi there. All right. Well, so basically, guys, as you know, or as you already heard, there was the stormwater runoff that's been going on here. And up until the time that Markley occupied the space, the group, basically, the water always ran downhill and ran into the stream behind there. Then when they came to town, it caused an issue where there was ponding on the roadway. And we were told that that wasn't going to happen. Everything that was told to us back in 2020 was that this was never going to happen. After every rainstorm, there's always standing water there. As was mentioned this year, there was a alteration to the site, and that included the wall, the retaining wall that abuts the Bourne Street area was torn down and rebuilt, but it was also rebuilt higher. Now, this matter was taken up in 2020, in October 26, 2020, and I know that's small, so I'm going to blow it up and read it to you. This is from Dave Fuller, and this is from the Markley Group. I was told by Richard White, construction project manager, that the brick wall that lines Bourne Street, side of the property in places will be removed, and landscaping in its place will ensure that the water drainage off of Bourne Street will drain into the Markley property. The drainage system in the large retaining wall recently built will disperse the water so that the water can be absorbed to avoid any erosion on Markley property. Now, this was in October of 2020. We were told this as a neighborhood, okay? Now you come up to August of this year, and as it was mentioned, there's a new sewer tie-in that occurred on Bourne Street. The residents didn't know what this was, and we thought this might have been to help the problem with us. Little did we learn that it actually had nothing to do with it, and that Markley was actually tying into the sewer system for whatever reason. This is from the Lowell Sun, where it shows the other side of the wall where that sewer is connected to. Now, if the retaining wall is built up here, that means that it's going to cause a natural barrier and that rainwater is going to go into the sewer system. We already have problems separating our rainwater, and during massive flooding events, that causes us to discharge raw sewage into the river. This isn't the solution to the problem. This is just making our problem worse. Also of note, was supposed to be another stormwater runoff that was supposed to go through Markley's current parking lot on the other side of the building and go into the brook. But because Markley put a whole bunch of underground lines there, we can't tie into that either, which means that us, the city taxpayers, are going to have to pay to split this stormwater runoff in a different manner to get it to some place where it can run properly into the brook. So again, not being neighborly, the solutions that we were promised back in 2020 don't exist. We're 5 years later, and they're saying we're not going to do it. Where's the end of this? Thank you.
Thank you. Actually, if we could just hear from Aaron Fox, I guess, on what's happening right now on this.
Yeah, thank you. To the council, if you'll just do a quick summary. So, in kind of like as discussed at the subcommittee and laid out in the motion response, is in the past there has been some flooding of that street, and then once that fence was erected, that created additional flooding, right? So it worsened the problem. Then in July 14th, so the city saw this issue. It got brought up as part of this motion. Wastewater approached Markley in July 14th and asked if we could tie into their private drainage system. The reason we've requested that is because there's a lot of value for the city to be able to send drainage to a waterway. That's what we call a combined sewer area. So both any drainage and any sewer in that area all flows in one pipe, right? So if we tie any further drainage into that pipe on Bourne Street, we'll risk any backups into homes, we'll risk backups and flooding. And so that's, we consider that not an option for this area, so we don't want to cause that impact. So we approached Markley, once again asked to tie into their private drainage system. The utility went back and forth with Markley and exchanged some information, some calculations to try to facilitate this to try to facilitate this goal. And then it got rejected September 22nd. And so we came back. We had other engineer controls we proposed Those were also rejected. So that leaves the city with, and wastewater, with an infiltration project possible to do there, where we would try to infiltrate into the ground any stormwater that's sheet flowing off that road toward that fence. And so that's currently
Okay.
where
So
we're at.
and did you agree with their calculations that their system can't handle the flow of water into the property?
So they had an engineering firm come and do an evaluation. That's a private system. They cited a 25-year storm as the what they would use to set their limits for that system. Now, as wastewater may use a shorter storm than that in some of our drainage designs, but like I said, that was completed by their engineer. So going by their engineer's calculations.
Okay. I do know the neighbors in that area already have sewage backup into their driveways and everything, so I've received calls about that, so that would definitely be concerning. So if the city has to do something to make up for this fence that's there, because the neighbors have said there was a natural flow that used to come down and go under the fence there, you know, when the fence wasn't there.
Yep.
What's that cost to the city approximately? I mean, the road's a muddy mess. Like, I've never driven by and really seen it dry.
Yeah, so we're working through different options of what could possibly be done there. So I don't have like a firm estimate. There's different technologies that could be used, some more simple than others, but we're probably looking at anywhere from over $250,000, so $250,000 and up for some sort of solution at this point is what we're looking at.
And there's nothing that can be, I guess my question maybe is for the solicitor, I'm not sure. So, I mean, is there anything the city can do as far as a fence that's been put up that stops like a natural drainage on the property? I mean, it was a state requirement, I believe, for the project to put the wall there originally, the fence there.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
I don't know.
Off the top of my head, I have no idea. I'd have to dig into that and see, you know, kind of how it got there, the process it went through, and how the city would go about, I don't know, whether it's amending it, pulling back a permit, or whatever it is. Obviously, if there's an issue that's big enough that affects the general public, there's something that the city can do about it. I can't say exactly what that is right now.
Okay, thank you.
So I had Councilors Getchier and Scott on this motion. Oh, Councilor Jess, I'm sorry, go ahead. Councilor Jess. Nope, I have it wrong here. Councilor Jess, go ahead.
Thank you. I appreciate the conversation, and getting this response back I feel is timely. At the subcommittee last week, one of the things I said is that it really feels like the trust between Markley and the neighbors is gone, is broken. And one potential path back here, I think, might be a community benefits agreement negotiated with Markley. And I think that this is the perfect opportunity to broach that topic. So, Mr. Manager, I'd like to make a motion, or sorry, Mr. Mayor, I would like to make a motion that the manager reach out to Markley and have initial conversations about the potential of developing a community benefit agreement for the city with Markley.
By Councilor Jess, second by Councilor Scott. All in favor say aye. Opposed, motion passes. Councilor Getchier.
Thank you, Mayor Rourke. Through you to Mr. Fox. Mr. Fox, does the city have the authority to check and see what is actually in that drain line that they have on their property? Is it only a stormwater drain?
Yes, from what they showed us, it's a stormwater drain, so that'd fall into their MS4 permit.
So do you have the authority to make sure that everything going into it is stormwater?
I believe I do, but I would like to check that, Council. Yeah. They do have an MS4 permit, so they do.
No, I understand there's a permit, but there's many places that things can be tied in. You've seen it how many times in your career that things are tied into drain lines? Because I'm just wondering how it would be capacity at 25 years with that tied in. That calculation still seems off to me. And I'm sure you're questioning it too, because it's not a high flow area, Bourne Street. It doesn't, I mean, the capacity at even a 25-year storm isn't gonna, a normal drain it shouldn't have a problem with, especially with a continual flow where it's going. So that's my question, is what is actually going in there? And I would love to see those calculations. Did you get the calculations from them, from the study that they performed?
I don't believe we reviewed the actual engineering calculations that they used for their property.
Were they sent to you?
I would have to double check, but I do not think so.
Okay. I mean, that would be my question, Mr. Mayor, because I think we have to figure out a happy medium here for those residents over there. Whether it's we need an easement through there or something's got to happen, because you can't create this type of hazard in a neighborhood and not be able to contain it. And the hazard comes from building a security fence that in this report says that the foundation to the security fence has worsened the problem and pushed it to another property. So I believe we have we can legally push for an easement through that property. Through you to the solicitor, Mr. Mayor.
That's good.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Again, this is something that I'm going to have to look at a little more detail. I wouldn't want to go off the top of my head and give the wrong answer. But yes, based off of what you said, it sounds like that makes sense. That would be the scenario that would come up where an easement would be appropriate. But again, I'd much rather take a closer look.
I've seen this fight in many other communities that are much greener than Lowell. And when someone perpetrates in and stops flow of water in its natural habitat, that and it causes health issues and other issues in areas that legalities come into play. So that's my question to it. And if you could just get us an answer at some point. Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Fox.
Any other questions or comments? Thank you, Mr. Fox. Returning to the agenda.
Mr. Mayor,
Councilor
since we're still under the suspension, could I suspend further and ask that item 11.3, Rebecca address her issue, because she'll be here all night long.
Take 11.3 out of order by Councilor Mercia, second by Councilor Noon. All in favor say aye. Opposed, motion passes. 11.3 miscellaneous. Rebecca Pike requests permission to address the City Council regarding use of skateboards, bicycles, and rollerblades on sidewalks. Ms. Pike.
Just your name and address for the record.
Okay.
Yeah.
Hi. Good evening. My name is Rebecca Pike, and I live down on Shattuck Street. And I've got some major concerns here. I have been seeing bicycles, skateboards on the sidewalks, and I have only counted 2 to 3 signs saying that these things should not be on the sidewalk. This is not being enforced at all. Someone is going to get injured and seriously injured. It is not if someone gets injured, but when someone is hurt. I look both ways before I step off the stairs at the apartment building that I live at on 1 Shattuck Street, because of the bikes and skateboards on the sidewalks. I have had several close calls, and yesterday I was almost hit by bikes 3 times, very close together on the sidewalk along Merrimack Street. Other days, elderly people pushing walkers have come close to being hit by bikes and skateboards coming from the other directions. This also happening when I walk, when walking with a cane and other durable medical equipment. The bike's front wheel could have hit the center of the walker, most likely injure the elderly person. This situation has been happening for a number of years. During this summer, I saw parents pushing their children on their bikes on the sidewalk. This is they're just still in elementary school, and the parent is pushing the bike with the child on it on the sidewalk, which leads to showing that it is okay for a child, even getting into adulthood, to be on the sidewalk riding a bicycle, when clearly there are signs. I've seen 2 to 3 signs on Shattuck Street, one pointed one way, one pointing the other way. I'm only seeing those 2. I don't know, and I mentioned it to the Lowell police and said, oh, well, we don't know why they were taken down. And so I'm just very concerned about safety and between people that are elderly and disabled. And I also hear a skateboard going down the sidewalk on Shattuck Street, usually around 11:30 or 12 midnight some nights. And I'm like, what? And so I just don't know what the solution is. Maybe some bike lanes, but we do have some wonderful historic roads with paving stones on Shattuck Street and Middle Street, Palmer Street, etc. But Merrimack and Market Street, there's problems. And they also congregate, there's high school students congregate outside of Subway restaurant after they get out of school. They're also congregating right around Little Delight's Bakery. And I could go on and on with how many close calls I've already had, and I am absolutely livid. I should be able to walk on the sidewalk and not have to worry about getting run over by people on rollerblades, skateboards, bicycles, or anything else. And I see the students from Lowell High School acting very recklessly. I could just go on and on right now, but I'm not, but I've said my piece and something needs to be done. And also, I know that I'm here for another matter, but hearing about the Barclay issue, it sounds like the Wetlands Protection Act needs to be looked at. My mom was on the Conservation Commission in Dunstable for many years, so I learned quite a bit about the Wetlands Protection Act, and it sounds like stormwater and all that needs to be looked at, with like Conservation Commission usually ties in with enforcing the Wetlands Protection Act. I know that they've got 2 different issues here, but I just wanted to put that out there. Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Pike. A motion to take place on file by Council Janess, second by Council Mercia. Council Janess.
Thank you for your attention tonight.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Thank you, Ms. Pike, for coming down and speaking. This was something that came up in the recent Lowell Downtown Neighborhood Association meeting. We discussed it with Captain Damaris and asked him if he could possibly do some outreach to the schools to try to do the education piece, to try and get people to not ride their bikes on the sidewalk. I don't know what other options we have, but I'd like to, see what you can come up with and what we might be able to do here. Thank you.
Council Getcha.
On Prescott Street, I thank the city manager and his staff. We put up a mirror, and they also put up a sign by, vehicles exiting driveway. And we wanted that, apron painted in yellow. Last night, 2 kids going down the sidewalk hit a car and needed to be taken out of there with an ambulance. And I think that they're coming on those sidewalks, and they're coming right by where the old Lowell and Hartford is very fast. And if there's a way, maybe we can, I know it's a long time. I'm starting to show my age. It's the gray. But down that area, they were flying by and did that. So if there's any way that we could actually paint that in there, that would help a lot. Assistant City Manager Machado knows the exact apron, that if we can just throw some yellow paint on there with caution on it so people understand that a vehicle is leaving there. Thank you.
All those in favor say aye. Opposed, motion passes. Returning to the motion list. 6.5, Councilor Yem requests city manager, the appropriate department, review and implement traffic calming measures on School Street, northbound from Middlesex Street to Broadway Street, and install a painted crosswalk at the intersection of Payne, and School Streets. Seconded by Councilor Scott. Councilor Yem.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. This motion came from a resident who lived on School Street across from Payne Street, and he was talking about the car speeding up from Middlesex Street on School Street toward the northbound where the stock closer is. And he was concerned that School Street is heavily traveled by students from Low Highlands to Stock Closer. So he urged and asked me a number of times to do something to file a motion. I personally went to visit him and stand in front of his house and watching the traffic. And sure enough, it's more than 25 miles an hour that it was traveled. So I'm asking city manager, traffic engineering, and our traffic enforcement to take a look at this before any incident happen to the children who go to Stock Closer School. Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
All those in favor say aye. Motion passes. 6.6, Councilor
Mr.
Rowland.
Mayor, can I make a motion to bundle 6.6 and 6.7, please?
6.6 and 6.7 by Councilor Robinson, second by Councilor Mercia to bundle. All those in favor say aye. Opposed, motion passes. 6.6, request city manager have property department take a look at Boynton Street for recommendations for traffic calming measures. And 6.7, request city manager have the property department examine West 6th Street during drop-off hours and make any recommendations to improve traffic flow. Both seconded by Councilor Gitchia. Councilor Robinson.
Motion speak for themselves.
All in favor say aye. Opposed, motion passes. 6.8, Councilors Robinson and Gitchia, request city manager invite a representative for Sheriff Katusian, LPD, district court judges, and district attorney to have a conversation with the council centered around challenges with our transient community. No second needed. Councilor Robinson.
Thank you. I think this is long overdue. I think we've heard bits and pieces from members of the community. We've heard bits and pieces from the media. We've heard bits and pieces from everyone we talk to. So I think it only makes sense to try to get some of the key people at the table for a conversation and see, can we come up with a comprehensive plan, and what are some of the challenges each of the sections involved in this are facing, and try to flush out, is there anything that we can do to try to streamline the process of some of the challenges we're up against? Thank you.
Gitchia.
Thank you, Mayor Rook. I agree with Councilor Robinson. I think maybe there's some resources we're missing. If we put all our heads together, maybe there's resources that we could be using better or utilize working together and just having that conversation to try to jumpstart something in between all of us that would try to benefit our community. So I thank you for listening to this motion.
Just for the record, I'll have to abstain from the motion. It's not my spot to tell judges what to do. So, Mr. Manager, go ahead.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I wish I filed under that myself, but I don't, apparently. But I just want to say, we have been looking at this, Council, thank you for bringing this up. Ms. Gold and I have been talking about VinFen and trying to invite them in. As most of you know, that VinFen should be opening up the restoration site in April of 2026, but we're trying to look to see if there's something that can be done between now and that time frame. There's a couple of ideas that we've had in discussion, but great motion, and hopefully we'll be able to get something within the next couple of weeks, just especially with the winter coming up.
If I could just quickly add, Mr. Manager, maybe, I know we've done this before as a council, request maybe some of the state delegation. I still believe that Tewksbury State Hospital should be an avenue that we can explore. I know they just closed a 34 to 38 bed unit for some reason, which will probably benefit to the city of Lowell. And also, I really like the idea of the couple of acres that are out there that hopefully we could partner with the state and maybe fund something that can go out there. So maybe add that to your list if possible. Mr. Manager.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, through to the council. That's a great idea, Mr. Mayor. Nobody should be concerned about this. The detox center is closing. The 34, I think you're correct, Mr. Mayor, 37 units, but there is a larger one opening. And it's going to be open in Concord. I need to know the correct dates and times. Ms. Golden, do you know if it's the time frame? I just want to alert the residents that that is not going to be a problem, like we're not going to have a detox center in the area.
Right,
You know the
that's
time
right.
frame?
So through the mayor, manager, and council, the Tewksbury Detox closed as of September 30th, and then there's one opening on the campus of Emerson Hospital, but I believe we're about a month out. So I believe it's about a month out.
So there is a little bit of a delay there?
A little bit of a lag time. The co-op did go out, and they do know the person who's running it. So the one out in on the campus at Emerson used to be a nursing home, that has now been converted, and it does accept Mass Health patients, so most of the patients that the co-op does send, it will be accepting. And they did go out and they have taken a tour of it, and there was a grand opening, so I believe it's just about a month out.
So to follow up with the mayor's comments, Lisa, Ms. Golden, excuse me, we should be talking with the delegation in regards to the property that is located out at Tewksbury State Hospital to see if that is another ability for us.
Right, and I don't know if it's earmarked for something, and that's why they moved. I'm not quite sure about that. And the Restoration Center, you are correct, Manager. April is the opening, so the first floor is VinFin. The second floor is Spectrum, which will be different forms of detox-type areas. And I could throw a whole bunch of acronyms at you. Different levels of 3-day stays, voluntary, involuntary. The first floor is actually open with 10 beds of medical respite. Might be a little bit, it's probably about a 15-minute informational, might be a little bit more for a subcommittee or the nonprofit subcommittee or something like that, because it's a little bit longer of a informational.
So at the request of the mayor, if the council is okay with this, we can move forward with the delegation to see if something in Tewksbury is available, considering the fact that they did close. I thank you for bringing that up. That was the end of September, if that's okay with the council.
Yeah, Councilor Janess and Councilor Scott. Councilor Janess.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I appreciate Councilor Robinson bringing this forward and the work the manager is going to do to set this up. I was just thinking this might be a good opportunity to have a committee of the whole subcommittee meeting where we can all be there and discuss this, just to make sure everyone can participate in the conversation.
Yeah, Councilor Scott.
Thank you. It's unfortunate to hear that there was a lag in between the two centers opening, especially in the middle of the crisis that we're in right now. So my question is just, Tewksbury obviously is in the next town over, and I know that's a lot less beds than Concord, but is that serving a much larger area, or is it still, geographically, how's that going to work with it so far away?
I believe it's still the same geographic area. The co-op actually sends people all the way down to Fall River, so
Okay.
it doesn't really matter for them. They'll find a bed anywhere. Danvers, Fall River, Tewksbury.
So the
Concord.
location won't affect
Yeah.
our needs. Okay, thank you.
Anything else? We're good. All in favor? Subcommittee, Councilor Janess, was there one in particular?
I was just thinking of the committee of the whole, so we could all be there.
Oh, okay. Even better. All right. All in favor, say aye. Opposed, motion passes. Moving on to communications from the city manager, 7.1A, Appleton and Middlesex traffic calming. Councilor Janess.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I appreciate the response. I understand the challenges where they are emergency response routes, and we can't just be throwing in speed humps to slow people down. I do appreciate that there are some thoughts going forward about Appleton Street, particularly as the development in that area continues. And I really just want to make sure this stays front of mind, because it is something I hear about quite a bit, and I don't want us to lose track of it. I see the speeds out there, particularly on Appleton Street, as mentioned in the response. The lanes are so wide that people just fly. There's a lot of pedestrians in the area, so whatever we can do to bring things down, even if we can put a temporary flashing light in, or I don't even know what the options are. But I wonder if there are any kind of low impact things that we could do that would have an effect until we get further along in this development cycle, as mentioned.
Thank you. Motion response B, Bovis signage. Councilor Robinson.
Thank you. Thank you again to the traffic engineer and everyone that made it possible. I greatly appreciate it.
Motion response C, Butman Road. Councilor Belanger.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I do want to thank traffic engineer Liz Altman for going out to Butman Road and doing some studies, and with her research, she finds out that Butman Road does qualify for traffic calming measures that possibly could be implemented in 2026. So those folks are going to be, that's going to be well-received news, and I appreciate all the efforts of the traffic engineer. Thank you very much.
Motion response D by myself, Delaware Avenue paving list. Residents will be very happy, Mr. Manager. Thank you very much. Motion response E, slow children signage. Councilor Robinson.
Thank you. Yeah, any signage to kind of help slow the flow of traffic over there, I think the intention is well documented. Thank you.
Motion response F, traffic calming updates. Councilor Robinson.
Thank you. Greatly appreciated. Again, I know Ms. Altman has been doing, I don't know if she's working 80 hours a week or what, but it's the work does not go unnoticed. I know all the residents I speak to in Centerville, for the most part, are very happy. I heard just last night again from a couple residents that live near Beacon and near Humphrey, and they said they're seeing 60 to 70% reduction in traffic speeding on their streets. You have a couple that don't care for it, but I think there is a curve for people to get used to it, and I still am going to continue to advocate to get those back on Billings. I know those are sorely missed by the residents on Billings. I know we had temporaries, but hopefully we can get the permanent to the next phase. Thank you.
Councilor Scott.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I'd also just share that the residents are very, very happy with them. I've noticed more pedestrians on the streets than I ever did on those streets, just kind of out and about. And people have said to me, like, this is the first time my kids have ridden their bikes out on the street in a long time. So definitely very happy with them. The only one, I guess, negative that we've come across in the district is that we have to look, I guess, at streets that could be used as alternatives that are close by. I guess when we put the speed bumps in, we might have to look at the whole area because there's a few streets they've just chosen to bypass and use a different route instead. But overall, very, very happy with them, and I thank Ms. Altman for all her work.
Mr. Manager.
Thank you very much, Mr. Mayor, through to the council. Councilors, I appreciate it, and I'm sure Ms. Altman appreciates it very much as well, but these are the difficult votes that you've all taken. You know, when we're raising revenue or taxes or whatever the case may be, these are the things that we can continue to do throughout the city. So really, tip of the cap goes to everyone here in this council for making this stuff happen. I've noticed it. I've heard about it. People are talking about it. The horizontal construction, i.e. the roadways, are in much better shape than they have been, quite frankly, in a decade, I think. And it's in large part, if not completely, due to the fact that this council has been supporting this. You know, we have other ideas about speed calming measures, and I just want to say, once again, we're extremely lucky to have Ms. Altman, who, thank you, Councilor. She does not work 40 hours a week. I think she even takes my phone calls on the weekends, and I do apologize for that to her and her family. But we are making a difference in this, and the proof will continue to be in the pudding. So thank you to the council for making this happen.
Moving on, motion response G, a letter to set aside for Public Higher Ed Fair Share Act. Councilor Gitchia.
I just want to say thank you to the manager and the council for supporting this. I think it's important to our community to try to get these funds in place so that the higher education is represented and we can start funding things so that our students can get the opportunity to go there. Thank you again, Mr. Manager.
Motion response H, detailed DPW breakdown, divisional responsibilities. Councilor Robinson.
Thank you. Thank you to everybody again, Mr. Machado, everyone involved, the commissioner of DPW, everyone that put this together. I think this document here, I think, is useful as well. Maybe it's a guide for your team to put together, as we've been kind of talking about, a see something, say something, updated 2025. You have a lot of relevant information here that can kind of help guide our residents to who they need to contact with certain concerns, especially if you put some imagery with this information on the sheets, but it's greatly appreciated. Thank you.
Councilor Gitchia.
Thank you, Mayor Rourke. Through you to Manager Golden. The facilities division that's in here, number 4, thank you for starting it with the high school. I think it's important that we get to that stage. Has the conversation broken down between the school department and us for a total facilities department, or is that still ongoing? Because I think the last we left it was after a subcommittee, and we gave it back to you to sit down and talk with the superintendent of schools and try to come up with something that we can work together with the school committee.
Mr. Manager.
Thank you very much, Mr. Mayor, through to the council. So we did put out the facilities department. We did find out that one of the unions we may have been a little loose with our language, so we brought it back. We're in the process of fixing that to put the facilities manager back out, and hopefully within the next couple of weeks. So the combining of the departments. Now the second piece is in regards to that. I did speak with Superintendent Skinner. We're going back and forth via text. I will be talking to him before the end of this week to have that further discussion on a thorny issue. If we want to recall, this council has moved forward or asked that we do this, and at that point in time, the school department had voted against it. So we will be bringing this back, and accordingly with the superintendent from schools, he was excited to have this conversation again with the school department. That is once again a work in progress, and it's going to be something that we will be looking at. So my hope is that Mr. Machado will have this out in the next couple of weeks for this particular position, and within the next couple of weeks to working with Mr. Baldwin, Mr. St. Cyr, to get a proposal or an idea, it's more of an idea, to the superintendent to kind of look at. I don't think a vote is necessary at this time. This council has already been on the record to start this, so maybe the school department, I may check in with the solicitor, but I think maybe if we present the school department something different, maybe they'll have a different feeling. Once again, at that time that they did vote on it, they voted it down.
And I think it's important that we outline total responsibility. You know, right now we don't know total responsibility, and every day we come up with something that surprises one side or the other in this. Whether it was the playgrounds, you know, and everyone's like, well, no, they're mine. Well, no, they're actually yours. And then we're pitching in, and there's no real capital planning to save the residents funding in the long run. And I think that this is the start to put all that together and understand. The custodian now would report to whoever, and it would be a facilities department. So I thank you. This isn't something that happens overnight, but I do think it's something that really would be a true investment by both sides to get something done that would be better for the students, the staff, our kids, and everybody who visits our facilities. Thank you.
Councilor Dakota?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Couldn't agree more with Councilor Gitchett. This kind of ties in, City Manager, that you have been talking with Superintendent Skinner. In Mr. Baldwin's memo to us on the maintenance of effort, I think it was the last paragraph, you were speaking with the CFO, the grants manager, and somebody else, and it seemed like you were kind of getting into that facilities department. Can you expound upon that, or should we wait till that motion response?
CFO?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I'm happy to get into it now. There is more information in the report later on the agenda, but as we've been continuing to collaborate with the school department business office on the maintenance of effort agreement, we have, it is the desire of the school department to open up the agreement and talk about some of the provisions of the memorandum of agreement that's been in place since 2011. And we're certainly open to that. We've had some really great discussions with the other side, mostly about helping them understand the items that are in there, where they came from, some of the history, because there's been some changeover on the school side. But to your point directly, Counselor, we have introduced as part of a negotiation that the city side would like to introduce the concept of a combined facility department. If we're going to be coming up with a new agreement, it makes sense as in one of the responses we provided that was discussed before the council took the vote to accept the statute was that the recommendation from the state is for municipalities, when a merger of this caliber takes place, that there be some kind of agreement on the terms. And so we're trying to wrap that into these ongoing discussions that are already happening. One of the challenges, and not to get too deep into the weeds, one of the challenges is trying to establish only a framework so that there's an opportunity to make it what we want, so it's not too set in stone. We're not going to have all the answers to all the questions right now before we even start. And so, part of that back and forth is coming up with the framework. We're not going to have answers to all the questions, but having answers that are sufficient to the school committee for them to feel comfortable, because they need, under the statute, they need to take a vote to adopt the provisions of Chapter 71, Section 37M. That was presented to them, and that was, kind of what stalled this process. So all of that is to say that these discussions are ongoing. We'll talk more about the specifics of the maintenance of effort agreement, but this combination, the idea, the momentum is still very much alive. It's just it's going to be a product of negotiation, and we're working through that with the school department.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
Motion response, aye. Update on ICC shelter, Councilors Gitcher and Noon. Councilor Noon, go ahead.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. It's very encouraging that, that the ICC now being used for emergency shelters, but it's only for 8 months from now. What's going to happen? Any plan? Do you know?
Mr. Manager.
Thank you very much, Mr. Mayor, through to the council. Council, yes, Secretary Augustus has been here in the city of Lowell, toured the area on a whole bunch of issues that we have going on in a very positive manner. Thursday, at the end of this month, I think it's October 23rd, I'm going to be heading into Boston, potentially with DPD, to have a further discussion. The executive branch has obviously asked the city to extend this out until the end of 2026. I want to make sure I get my fiscal years and my years together here. So we're moving forward with the anticipation that December of 2026, this will be vacated. And we're working on a plan currently right now, which many of the councilors know. We have been working with DCAM to work with Hurd Street, the district court. So we're working on a housing plan as well as potentially a business plan on district court, as well as the ICC and what I'm referring to as ICC2, which is the parking lot. So this is all working in that direction. As I stated, October 23rd, I believe it is, the Thursday the 23rd, will be in meeting with the Secretary's staff. If anybody has any ideas, thoughts, plans, please let me know, because we're really looking aggressively towards building out an additional part of the downtown, which would be located obviously off of Hurd Street into the ICC. One of the best things about this is we have the land, we have the space, we've talked to water, wastewater, et cetera, but we also have one of the most underutilized garages in the area, and that's the garage right at the bottom next to the ICC. What would be positive there is, as each councilor knows, we're looking at, I believe, at one point in time in the last 3 years, we were helping the parking trust fund, the enterprise account. I believe it was to $2.8 million, $2.7 million, and I think we're down to about 2.3. So any type of development in and around that area that is going to additionally push people to park in that is only going to be helpful. So to your point, Councilor, this discussion is happening. We are probably 14 months or so, which I'm hoping that the state will still continue to move in that direction. I've had incredible conversations with Julie Chen, who is a partner of ours at UMass Lowell, and they are ready, willing, and able, as well as UMass Building Authority, et cetera, to work collaboratively to see what it is that this council wants. Giovanni Baez-Rose and her whole team, this is a discussion we consistently have about, once again, growing that area, which could be, it could be a good opportunity for us. You could really be talking 300 units. I don't think I'm overstating, approximately 300 units in that area. That currently right now is a very, very quiet, it's kind of quiet, desolate, and it would really wake up that garage area down there and help us at the end of the day.
I see you indicated in your report that the cities still want to be an active player or active stakeholders, and you also mentioned UMass Lowell. Is there any other investors and or interest, stakeholder that want to be, partners with the cities and take over the ICC after the emergency shelters move out the end of 2026?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Through you to the council, especially with the Urban Economy Forum, which we've all been talking about, we have a lot of people that have been calling and speaking with DPD. Some of the names, not to talk about names, but some of the names you would know, and quite frankly, some of the names are from outside of this area that have been reaching out. The designation that everybody has talked about and the Front Runner City and the Urban Economy Forum, really, Council, is making a huge difference. And people are really starting to notice this, especially when we're talking about any type of development.
So there is ongoing dialogue to, for the futures of ICC, right?
Mm-hmm.
Just update the council as you, get some good news on this.
We're very excited to update the council
Thank
on
you.
this. And
Thank you, Mr.
for
Mayor.
all of your discussions on this. I appreciate it.
Councilor Gitche, anything?
Thank you, Mayor Rourke. Thank you, Mr. Manager, for the report. I think it's important to let the viewing audience understand again that the city doesn't own this property. It's the state property, and we're trying to work together to keep everything in place and keep updated on the property. But at the end of the day, as long as you're part of the conversation and we're getting some kind of feedback from that conversation, I think that that's the most important piece. So if, to the maker of the motion, Councilor Noon also, if he would be okay with maybe getting quarterly reports on this and just saying, you know, we've spoken to on this date, here's where we are, because I think it's an important piece to what people are thinking right now is that ICC and the development. So if you could just give us like a quarterly breakdown, it doesn't have to be a major thing, just so that we know that we're still in this loop and we understand what's going to go on down there. Thank you.
Motion response, Jay, graffiti.
Mr. Mayor, thank you. For once, I think I'm actually going to be a little more demanding than Councilor Gitcher, which is kind of odd for me. But I was, in my head, I was going to ask if we could have monthly updates on this, only because it is a rather short time frame to what we think is the finish line of this being an active shelter. I don't know how many sites like this are currently in use across the state. That was my other question. Is Lowell the only one, or are there other ones across the state at this point?
Mr. Manager?
Thank you very much, Mr. Mayor, through the council. That's something we'd have to get back. I know there's not many. And the administration, obviously asks the city, let's, for the edification of all that are listening, it's a state building. They can continue to do it as they wish. But after 2025, they'd asked for an extension. We'd talk to the council. And that we're moving in that direction. I know there were many, and now there are a few, but I can get you the exact answer. But absolutely, Mr. Machado is in discussion with these folks once a week. So is Ms. Golden. We have a really great team of people that are working over there. So if you'd like a once-a-month update, that's not a difficult thing for us to accomplish. That
would be great. I would definitely appreciate that. And yeah, my only question, the reason I asked the question about how many others there are in the state is I feel like if there aren't any others, or there's only one other, in my mind, that reduces the likelihood that the state is going to shut it down when they say they're going to shut it down. Which, is their building, they can do what they want, but I just want to make sure we're all in the loop on this. And something else that you mentioned when we were talking about this fired something in my mind, which is you said, we're very lucky that we have land around here to do this. I would ask very strongly that we consider devoting some of that land to green space, maybe a playground, something like that. That's something that is missing in the downtown. If there's an opportunity to do that as part of this project, I think it might be a good opportunity, particularly as we look to build units that might bring more families into the area. If we can find a path to a playground, that's something that I've been asking for my entire time on this council. I would really appreciate it. Thank you.
Motion response, Jay, graffiti downtown, 311, Councilor Noon.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Thank you, Mr. Managers and his team for the report. Appreciate it.
Motion response, K, update on the boxing. Jim, Councilor Robinson.
Thank you. I think we're all on the same page with this. I know everyone here understands the value and importance of bringing a form of this back to the city. It's been an integral part of the city forever. I think some of the challenges that are outlined in this report, we've been actively working on. I'm hoping that a property pops up that's suitable to the needs of the city and all the residents that have been advocating to reinstall a boxing gym and bring it back to Lowell. Thank you.
Councilor Dakota.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I know he's not scheduled to speak, but if Ozo's here, I think he has some updated information that might be privy to what we're talking about.
Motion by Councilor Dakota to allow a speaker, second by Councilor Scholes. Fair say aye. Opposed, motion passes. Name and address for the record, sir.
Yes, Ozo 201 Middlesex Street. Thank you all for having me. So I sent you all this communication, I believe it was a couple of days ago, just to bring it to the public view. I think a fantastic place for this would be the YMCA, where we're down there every day. It's not really a program, it's sort of informal. We're kind of working together and working as a team. But as far as the location is concerned, Carrie Ann Greenhalgh, Health and Wellness Director of the Greater Lowell YMCA, has stated that their facility is equipped to build up. And she mentioned this in context of discussions around a boxing gym. In the meantime, the Y's current equipment, capacity, and on-site services could serve as a temporary solution, especially if enhanced to include programming and instruction. I passed along her information to you. Hopefully you'll reach out and we can get this going, because as you guys have known, I've been waiting a long time for this, and the whole city has. Connecting this with another email that I sent to Bob Russo, he had a couple of questions as well. Bob Russo is the national president of the Golden Gloves, if you don't know. There are several individuals who have either committed or who have given verbal indication that they're interested in helping out with this endeavor. The following is a rough list, which is actually far more extensive. That would include Bob Russo himself, YMCA staff, which does include, but is not limited to Carrie, Perry Lucas, who stood at this podium and spoke so passionately about boxing in Lowell, Kiki Rudy, obviously, Bobby Christakos, Freddie and Joey Soberon, Joey Romalo, Dave Romalo, Dickie Eklund, Shane Carney, Justin Robinson, Kevin Destin, Kim Hong Che, and a few members of the YMCA, including myself. I recently obtained my certification to become a boxing instructor myself, and I need to put that to good use, and I would appreciate that if you guys could facilitate that. On top of that, as we get going, I see all these boxing enterprises and promotions all over the place. You know, they're having boxing events at Fenway Park, and they're selling out arenas up in Portland. I mean, this would happen here. I mean, it's 100%. It would happen at down at I'm sorry, I'm drawing a blank. Someone please help.
Auditorium.
Yes, the Lowell Auditorium. I believe we have enough to sell out the Songus, no problem. So any help with this would be really appreciated. And if you need any information from me, please do reach out. I also plan on starting a foundation to raise money for this cause. So thank you very much.
Thank you. Motion response L, UNESCO Learning City update. Thank you very much. Motion response M, revisit maintenance of agreement. Council Noon.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I know that CFO Baldwin touched on this a little bit. It seemed like, or sounds like the meeting, when it's okay. How long you been? How many times have you met with the other side or with the school?
CFO.
Thank you very much, Mr. Mayor. We've met maybe 3 times at this point in advance of us submitting the report to the schools, and then Mr. Ball, myself, met with the business office a few times after it was submitted to them so that we could review everything that was submitted, and those have been really fruitful.
Is there any issues, concern that came up or that you identify in those meetings?
Sure. There have been issues we've identified in terms of, like I said before, helping to understand the data that's provided, helping to provide it in the most readable, easy format as possible, and demonstrating to the employees of the schools that all of these data points are consistent with the agreement that's been signed. And we've been providing this report to the schools for many years now. Yeah. But when there's a changeover in leadership at the school department, it's always a good idea to dive into the details.
I think the old agreement has been over a decade now, and it would be good to have a new agreement. It'd probably make everyone feel better. I know that it will take time to reach that. I would encourage you to continue that negotiation with the school, and hoping that at some point that you come back or you submit that to the managers and, agreement can be made. I know that also there's some issues is that, a give or take from both sides. One of which is touch on the joint facilities department. It's a school probably do not want to relinquish that, to the city in terms of the custodian, whatnot. So I hope that at some point you come to that agreement that because the joint facility department, I think, could address some of the, back and forth in terms of the maintenance of effort agreement, right? So please update the council maybe the next 2 months or so as to the progress made. And, I hope that you make that progress. I hope that you get that almost a new or refreshed maintenance of effort agreement to the managers, and then the other side, the school will give it to Superintendent Skinners, and at the end that we make some, compromise on this. This is for our kid, really. I mean, the bomb at the end of the day is for the kid. It's not us versus them. It's our school, our city. So I urge you to continue that negotiation. I know that's difficult, but through difficult decision, through difficult discussion, you come to a better solution, a solution that both sides will embrace. Thank you.
Let's get you.
Thank you, Mayor Rourke. Through you to CFO Baldwin. I know you said you had to explain this, and I think that's the important piece, is trying to get people to understand what we're even talking about. But what works well and what doesn't work well? I mean, on your end, it seems as though there's not much to move, it seems. Have they said anything that doesn't work well in this agreement?
CFO?
Thank you, and thank you very much for the question. It does bring up an important point, and that's, I agree personally that it is a good idea for us to, open back up the negotiations, take a look, and have an agreement that is current. It will have the signatures of the current city councilors, school committee members. The one we're working on, Jim Milanazzo was the mayor at the time. So it has been some time since we've taken a look, and that's perfectly understandable. It is, I think there's a lot of misinformation that exists when it comes to this agreement. It's something that, we internally we take for granted, Mr. Ball and I, because we deal with this every day, and so it's very straightforward. I guess the comment I'm hoping to make in response to your question is that many of the things that are in the agreement mirror exactly what is in the regulations. 603 CMR 10 lays out all of the categories that are allowed to be counted, some that are allowed to be reported but not counted towards the total, and the purpose of all of this is to calculate for every district in the same way the amount of spending towards meeting the net school spending requirement that is a component of the Chapter 70 education formula. So, many of the things that we report are the same as every other district, things like the charter school tuition payments, the school department employee, and I've said this before at prior meetings, so I apologize if this is redundant. Heat and electricity for school facilities, Medicare tax, the salaries for school nurses. These are all things that we report because the school department doesn't have the same access to the same data on our side, so we provide it to them so that they can compile it into the end-of-year report for reporting purposes to DESE. The one category that gets the what I would argue is a disproportionate amount of scrutiny has to do with the Department of Public Works and work orders. To put that in perspective, the total amount, the net school spending figure for the district is about $300 million. The total DPW for work orders is just about $1 million. So it is not an insufficient amount of money, but the materiality of it is maybe not commensurate with the amount of discussion it receives, but we spent a lot of time discussing this in our meetings. Again, those were productive discussions. We had the DPW commissioner there. We had the facilities department from the schools. We went through all of the work orders, a discussion of what is the best way to, manage the process in terms of, who puts in the work order, the language that they're using for how they describe the work orders. And we had a back and forth conversation with them about what's a better way to provide the information to them so that they understand, so that they can be accountable to their legislative body as well. But it is very much, I'm sorry for going off track a little bit, but I don't anticipate a lot changing. There are these items that we've discussed here of potential consolidation of functions on the custodial side or on the DPW side for the facilities department rather. Those are items that I think could be part of a discussion, but I see all of these categories of utilities, pension costs, health insurance as remaining the same, but perhaps a renewed understanding of the agreement would be the product, and I think that's a good goal to have for this negotiation. Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
So my question through Mayor Rourke is just for transparency purposes and just for, it may even push down the amount of time we have to go through this. Wouldn't it be wise for us to have some kind of policy in place that would say every 3 years we should revisit this in an evergreen clause that's in like the back of this agreement? It says every 3 years this should be gone over so that for transparency, so you don't have to go through this over 14 years and just now try to make up 14 years of it. So shouldn't we be adding at the back of this memorandum or agreement that every 3 years, 2 months before the end of this, we sit down and hammer out a new piece? Then the transparency wise, no one can go out in public and start saying this is that, that's this, and I'm not saying it won't happen, but I just think for transparency purposes, it just makes a lot more sense to do this, like have a paragraph in there that says, a month before the expiration of this agreement 3 years from now, or not the expiration, it would be an evergreen, but we should negotiate if that's something that Mayor Rourke, through you to the manager, would be acceptable to, and the school department would be. It just would help us all understand it better. Thank you.
Councilor Robinson?
Thank you. I'm glad to see there's concerted efforts to work towards an understanding on this. And I'm glad to hear that I definitely think, as the CFO said earlier, this is the ideal time for this because it gives the opportunity to really, even from a city's perspective, how would a centralized facilities impact any maintenance effort agreement? Because that's something that we really have to factor in, because I think, as we've all discussed, it is a direction that I really hope we're going to go in the very near future, because every day we don't have that, I think we're spending more than we desperately need to. And I think we're not getting the efficiencies or the environment that everyone deserves. So I think it's a great time to really look at how will a maintenance effort agreement be impacted as a result of a centralized facilities. Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I just want to jump off what Councilor Gitsch was mentioning about transparency. One thing that I was thinking is, I think it would be really helpful for everyone if maybe as part of the budget presentation, when we build the budget book online, if we could have a detailed breakdown of what the maintenance of effort is, something that anyone can click through and understand exactly how the categories work, what the numbers are, and be able to look over time, be able to look at it last year, this year, next year, just to understand how those numbers change. It'd be great to be able to build something like that in conjunction with the school department, so we can say, yes, everybody agrees that these are the numbers and these are what they mean, and have one central place where anybody can go look at it. Thank you.
Just a quick question, Mr. Baldwin. Every year, the maintenance of effort goes through a third-party audit.
Yes, Mr. Mayor. The Department of DESE looks at it, reviews it, provides comments, but also it is audited by CBIZ, which is the name of our audit firm now. So it is reviewed by the school department, then by DESE, then by CBIZ.
In your time as CFO, has there ever been a dispute with the third-party audit?
No, Mr. Mayor, there has not.
I just ask those questions because, we're responsible, tax-wise and, some fiscal decisions where the school department does not have that responsibility. So as when a lot of complaints come from the school department, they don't have to worry about any tax issues or, things like that. So thank you very much. Any other comments or questions? No? Moving on, motion response and school bus violation fees. Councilor Robinson.
Thank you very much. I think that this is something, and last time this came up, we were looking at for a contract. We were waiting for the contracts open up to be able to require the school buses to install cameras for people that run it. So I don't know, would this be better served to send to a subcommittee to kind of work through, do you think, at that point?
Manager.
Thank you very much, Councilor. This is very, very timely. We've been meeting and talking to some folks about this, and some of the things that is very exciting. But the Transportation Subcommittee, if that's where you're thinking, Council, would be, I think, a great idea. But we also, from the administration standpoint, want to bring some ideas forward. We've been talking to companies that have done this. Some things that are very, very interesting, that some of the violations over a 3-month period for 7 buses in, towns, cities that are similar to Lowell, there are 977 violations in a matter of 3 months with just 7 buses. Now, that is true in one area, and it's true in a second area. So, kind of somewhat surprising to me, to be quite frank, after talking about this. I was not aware that this is this big of a problem. And it was Councilor Dakota that actually brought it to my attention, talking about these issues. And then, of course, Councilor Robinson with what you're discussing. So I would love an opportunity to meet with the Transportation Subcommittee to talk about what the potential is here for us. The Commonwealth of Massachusetts has allowed this to happen. So what would happen is on this, on the arm extension, the stop sign, at that point in time, there would be a camera that does not take a photo of the person in the vehicle, nothing like that. It takes a photo of the car as well as the license plate. At that point in time, sitting with the superintendent of police, there would be a fine that would be levied against that person. And that fine is into the tune of $250 per MGLs. This is something that necessarily isn't a financial thing that we're looking at, but when I saw the 2 areas, the 2 municipalities, over a 3-month time frame, in 7 buses, 7 routes, have over 977. This is something I think we really need to get behind. And I think that any revenue that would be brought in from this, I would like to humbly request that we look at, increasing traffic violations or, traffic calming measures, and we keep it within the spirit of what this is meant to be. The organization that I met with just today was absolutely fascinating, and having the Superintendent Hugh on there and his sergeant really going through, point counterpoint of how this could work. It's very timely, and I'd just like to participate more on this and really come forward with an idea, I think, from the administration to ensure that we kind of we keep our finger down on this. Everything that this council has been pushing for traffic calming measures, not only from what our engineer has done, but what our police department is doing. I think that I'm going to make the comment, doubling down on something like this. There is no place for this. I'm actually shocked and outraged at what I'm afraid we are going to see here in this city. I think that this is something that we need to jump on yesterday. And that's something that I've already talked to the solicitor as far as hopefully to bring something forward to all of you to have this discussion and get this with our bus folks as soon as possible. And Councilor Dakota, you are correct, and I couldn't believe the number of times that you told me how bad this was, but hearing it from a third-party source, this is outrageous what people are doing passing school buses. So Councilor Robinson and to everybody here, great idea. I think we need to do this yesterday, to be quite frank with you.
Thank you very much, and it's encouraging to hear your sentiment, and you walked it through with your team. And so, through you, Mr. Mayor, to the manager, what's your recommendation to get this going off the ground? Is a subcommittee ideal, transportation subcommittee, so that way we can present?
Yes.
Motion by Councilor Robinson to send to a transportation subcommittee, second by Councilor Dakota. All in favor say aye. Opposed, motion passes. Do you want to speak, Councilor Dakota?
Thank you.
Quickly. 19 years, and those figures are the same as they were 19 years ago. It's an incredible amount. I think the Transportation Subcommittee is the place for this to go. There's a lot of things to talk about when you're talking about adding more personnel, because those are the ones that are going to be sending out the violations. You're going to need police officers to go to court for appeals, all that type of stuff. So there's a lot to discuss here, but once again, safety is the name of the game, and I am scared that something like that. I always was, and telling people that the near misses that we've had in the years I was the transportation director, I'm glad that this has finally come to a head, and I thank Councilor Robinson for bringing that motion to the floor. Thank you.
Councilor Janess, Councilor Mauricio.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I'm looking forward to the Transportation Subcommittee where we can discuss this in depth. But I really appreciate Councilor Robinson bringing this forward, and I appreciate the response. This definitely sounds like something we need to do yesterday. So I'm looking forward to moving forward with this. Mr. Manager, the one thing I'd ask is I think we should start a public awareness campaign that we're working on this now. Social media, article in the Sun, whatever we can do that just says, hey, this is a problem, we're taking it seriously, and you need to stop for school buses or you're going to be getting tickets pretty quick. As Councilor Dakota said, this has been going on for as long as he's been paying attention. I don't think that an awareness campaign will stop it, but you know, it might get some more eyeballs on it and really let people understand how big of an issue this is. This is definitely about protecting the kids and making sure they're safe getting on and off the school buses. So I'm all for it. Thank you.
Councilor Mauricio.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. So is this a joint subcommittee of the transportation, school and city, both? Do you think the school
The motion was
committee?
just for our transportation subcommittee, but if you want to invite the schools.
I think the school committee should be on board with it. I think it should be joint with the two.
It would come under the city's budget, though, wouldn't it? So I don't know where the school committee would come into play here.
But
We'll invite them, Councilor Mauricio, we'll invite them.
They can come, I guess.
It's transportation, and it's a school issue.
Yeah, we'll invite them to attend.
All right.
Can I ask a quick question? What was the fine, again, Mr. Manager?
$250.
Through you, Mr. Mayor, to the council, the fine is $250. And just out of some more things we had learned just today, there are 22 states currently right now that are operating under this. Commonwealth of Massachusetts just jumped on board with this. I believe it's been inactive for the last 12, I think you might be correct, Councilor, January of this year. And just, you know, we can get into this in subcommittee, but, you know, weekly files are coming in. The superintendent and his team, Superintendent Hudon and his team are looking at this. They were very impressed with what we were looking at. And it's just, there's a lot of good things. And once again, to see some of these statistics were a little too much, to be quite frank with you. And it's something that I would like to move ASAP.
Do we have the ability as a council to increase those fines?
Mr. Mayor, through you to the council, no, that is regulated by the Mass General laws, and I believe it can go up, but it has to be a multiple fines. What they do find out always as well is that there's a limited number of repeat offenders. I think it's a very low number of repeat offenders. I think
The city manager's right.
4%.
City manager's right.
Thank you very
Goes
much.
incrementally, it will go up with the additional violations.
Motion response, LMA 5-year capital plan, Councilor Dakota.
I want to thank Mr. Baldwin for the report. Yes, I do agree with the free cash, Mr. Baldwin, rather than get into issue of debt. Looks like everything that the Gale report put down, city manager, you getting it. So I think he had one more wish list, was a elevator, yeah. If we could work on that one, I think we'll be in good shape, and this is an excellent, excellent plan. Thank you very much.
Mr. Manager, someone want to speak? Good.
We also have a program where we're trying to get vets in to do minor repairs in the LMA, painting, just small upkeep stuff, but that's a work in progress.
I did hear that, and they have quite a bit of painting that needs to be done over there, so that will work. That will work.
Absolutely.
Great idea.
Motion response P, 311 update, Councilors Noon, Janess, and Robinson.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Thank you for the report. The reports kind of indicated the data that you have, some progress there. It's good to have. Is there a backlog on that report? If so, how long, how big is the backlog in terms of 311 response?
Mr. Manager.
Thank you very much, Mr. Mayor, through the council. Council, I'm going to bring up Mr. Fernandez in a moment to talk about the backlog, but I know that Edith and Charlene, if you guys want to wave to this is the team that's really making this happen. They're really doing a fabulous job. 311 is really becoming something that is everything I think this council wanted and more. But Mr. Fernandez, I just want to see what the backlog is, if the current backlog and what else is happening. But to Edith and Charlene that are day in and day out on this, you guys are absolutely doing a fabulous job, and I sincerely appreciate it. I want to make sure that the council knew, it's not Mr. Fernandez.
No, Mr. Manager. Thank you very much, Mr. Manager. It's definitely not me. It's this team right back here that's been handling the day-to-day operations on this. So as we put into the motion response, we've received over 7,000 at this point, over 7,000 submissions since we went live on March 11th. So we're about 7 months into the program. In terms of the number of items that have been processed, they're processed both from submissions coming in from residents, many submissions come in from counselors as well, also very many proactive things that the departments are doing when they're out there. So when we're looking at the types of requests, we have both what we consider standard requests from the public as well as requests that are labeled with INT at the start for internal. A good example is someone puts in a request for a pothole to be filled, they go out to fill it, they see 3 other potholes. They complete the request that came in from the resident, then they also fill out an internal form so that we can track that these were internal activities. And then when folks look at the overall amount of work that was completed, they can differentiate between those that came in from the public as well as those that were proactively completed. There's about 85 different types of requests in the system. Those are as a result of looking at 117 different communities across the country, 63 of them that use this exact same system, and looking at what types of requests these communities are submitting. We also looked at the system that we had in place prior to that. In some cases, we had requests that would come in that would be one request that was handling multiple items or servicing multiple things. We broke those out, so it naturally increased the number of types of requests that we have. We also looked at the services for these requests. What I mean by that is the amount of time it takes to complete them. One correction I want to make on the reports that you have is, so there is an overview and then there are details. And when we look at the details, the system itself is designed to track a completion time based on calendar days. So you submit it on a Thursday, it gets completed on Monday. Technically, there's one business day on Friday, one business day on Monday, but the system is tracking calendar days. When we're looking at reporting, which is something that we're just diving into because we just got the reporting system up and running within the past like 2.5 months, one of the things that we did naturally was we looked at business days. And so as we started looking at the things that are the canned reports in the system and the reporting that we were getting discrepancies, and we managed to identify that it was because we're looking at things from a business day, while the system is naturally looking at things in calendar days. We're working with the vendor to see if they can make any changes to that. We've also worked very closely, Edith and the rest of MIS has worked very closely with the vendor, Tyler, on making modifications. We are the single community in the country that is really driving a lot of changes in this system, because we've been really hammering away at little things that we've wanted to have changed. In terms of backlog, per se, backlog can be defined in a couple of different ways. We currently look at, we're looking at about 200 items that are outstanding over a period of, I believe, is it 21 days? In general?
It tells them right here. So on the second page of the report, it tells you how many are closed and how many are open.
Up to the mic, Edith. Sorry.
So on the second page of that report, like the second page, it tells you how many requests are open, how many are closed. Yes, thank you. It's right there.
On this page?
There you go. So on that page where the election districts are, so it is. So we have closed. By the time of this report, we have 6,230 requests closed, and open we had 212 plus 86 that are investigating. Yeah. So those are accounting as the open requests.
Councilors all set? We had Councilors Newman, Robinson, and Jeunesse Fowler. So
Yeah, I do have one more question. So you indicated that 200 item outstanding, right? So it's say it has to do with the park or have to do with DPW, right? Would DPW respond back to the individual that requests and say, hey, look, we're not going to get your thing, right away, maybe 20 days from now? Do you do that, or do the DPW do that?
They do, Councilor. They're trained to do that, and some things certainly can happen because of lead time. Say a part of the playground needs to be replaced, playground equipment, so they have to order it, whatnot. They are trained to reply back to the requester to give them an update on what's going on with the request, why it's being delayed, etc.
And you do that in all cases, right?
They have been trained to do that in all cases. Yes, sir.
Thank you.
So I got Councilors Jeunesse, Robinson, and Councilor Mercia.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. First, I just want to say thank you to the team for this report. One of the first motions I filed when I got on the council was to implement a system like this. And this is why, because the data that a report like this gives you so much information about where we need to go as a city and how we're going to get there. So I look forward to seeing how these request types change over time, the number and everything, and this is great, so thank you. I did have a couple of small questions. One question is, how are duplicates handled? So say Councilor Mercier sees a pothole and files a request, and then I come down the street an hour later, see the same pothole, file the same request. What I've heard from some people is that, I filed this and it was just closed. Are duplicates closed? Are they referenced to the initial one that is submitted? I don't know how that works.
So when it comes to duplicate, we're talking about if it is submitted by the same individual. What we usually do we will close the first request. We'll leave one open and close one of them. But if it is submitted by separate, two different residents, they remain open. It will get closed eventually once the pothole get resolved. So they will remain open. That's how it is being handled right now. If it is submitted by the same individual, then that's where we actually close one of the requests.
Okay, that makes sense.
If I may, it also depends on the tool that's being used for the submission, because the system is designed so that if Edith was reporting the street light out here, and I go to report the same street light, the system automatically pops up indicating, this street light at something within a radius here of this address has already been reported. This could be a duplicate. Do you want to continue submitting it as a duplicate, so that the reporter is allowed to put it as a duplicate or not? When it comes in, it's tracked so that it's not tracked as a duplicate. It's tracked so that they can be closed.
Sure.
Because the system doesn't have an easy way to identify that it is a duplicate. Also, one thing that I wanted to draw your attention to on this report, which is somewhat unique, and Tyler was kind of impressed with our decision to do this, is you might notice that this shows the districts on it. So we are trying to gear up so that we can provide you data so that in the future, when you're looking at these reports, you're able to dive down at your own district level as well as citywide so that you can see what type of requests are coming in at your district. So once we start providing these online, we'll actually be breaking these out by district as well as an overall so that everyone can actually take the look at their own districts and see what's going on there, where are they coming in from, how quickly are they being resolved, et cetera, so that you're informed about what's going on in your own district as well.
Awesome, thank you. The one other question I had is, I've had several folks speak to me about their experience trying to submit things and getting some errors and things not being submitted properly. What I tell them is, 311 is great. Submit it. If it fails, send it to me. I can either submit it or pass it along. But it's been kind of a repeated thing that I've heard about those errors. So my question is, does the app log those, and do you get those logs to understand why a submission may have failed?
I'm going to be careful in responding. The submissions, all of this is obviously a canned product from a vendor, and we've been working closely with the vendor in their graphical tool that they use and how they have certain standards they've implemented. The number one complaint that we have received, that the manager's front office has received, that appears to be, folks will say, oh, it looks like it failed, it didn't submit.
Yes.
It's actually when you're doing a multi-choice entry. A good example is if you're putting in a tree. Something has to be, there's a problem with the tree. There's a drop down that may have, oh, the branches are too low, or this needs to be done, et cetera. And the choice the vendor used in the interface isn't as obvious for folks to know that they have to do the multiple selections and then click OK to continue. And you can click OK to continue without those selections being made, and then it errors out. And we are actively working with the vendor. They just released a new version today that actually fixes a handful of things that we've reported to them that the team is in the process of testing. So it is an iterative process, and it is something that the vendor is very grateful. We meet with them on a weekly basis, bi-weekly basis right now, on all the issues that are being reported to us, that are fed back to them, that are tested, and they've been very good at putting things onto the schedule to fix them and get back to us on. We also encourage folks, a lot of folks are using the mobile app, but we also encourage folks to use the web portal app, going through the web. One of the benefits of using the web is you do get more information than you get on your phone. It's just by the nature of the tool itself. You have access to the statistics immediately, and you have a lot more access to what is going on in the area that you're submitting as well.
Awesome. Would you mind sharing the URL for that?
Yes, sir. It's actually on the on this report, on the memo. It's it's on the second page at the very top. There's a link right there.
Yep.
That is to the actual portal.
Awesome. Is there any way we could create a quick link off lowellma.gov/311 or something and just have it go here?
It is under 311. It is the main interface when you go right into it. Yes, sir.
Awesome. Well, thank you guys again, and I really appreciate this. And I think my one piece of feedback to Tyler would be, it would be much better if the error messages that the users see could help them resolve their issue and get their issue submitted.
Yes, sir. We have given them that very clearly.
Awesome. I appreciate all the work you're doing, and I do tell people when I speak to them that this is still new, and we are working towards improving it. And not everything is going to be reportable and fixable right away. It's going to take time to build this system out and really stretch its legs and do everything it can. So thank you guys so much for your work on this. I know it's a lot of work. I know it was a lot of work getting it up and running. And we're all better off for it. So thank you so much.
Thank you, Councilor.
Councilor Robertson?
Thank you. As you know, I got to say, thank you very much. Since I was first elected, I brought this to the floor and kept the pressure on. When are we going to get it? When are we going to get it? The manager and his team kept telling us it's coming, we're going to stand it up. You came in and explained this is a brand new concept for the city. It's a lot of the stuff we don't see, all the integration there. And then we also had the challenge that the entire city was dealing with at the same time. So greatly appreciated. I have to say thank you to you and your team. I have a couple questions. I know initially when I was using it, one of the features that I liked and I heard from residents they enjoyed was the map on the mobile version, iOS. I see that's gone now. I don't know if that's what happened with that, but I found that to be very handy.
Yeah, so that was that's a feature we're actually working with Tyler with the vendor. It is gonna be the only thing that it is for safety reasons it was taken down, but we're working to make sure that it is there, but in a way that you can see your own requests, your own submissions, not everybody else, or where you can see the descriptions and addresses, which is that becomes a safety issue. But we're working with the vendor that it is in our through on one outstanding list that we have internally, and once we deem that it is safe to be in the app again, and they make the changes that were requested, then it's going to be back again where you're going to be able to see your requests and by only your own submissions.
See, that's excellent, but would there be a way to, even if there was no data with it, to show requests as they came in, like something as I found it very useful was for potholes. I'm driving home from work or I'm driving through the district on a Saturday morning having a coffee and I see a large pothole. I used to be able to look on the app, on the map, and see that dot at that location and say, okay, I don't have to report this. It was already reported. I didn't need to see the information on who or when or any of that, as long as I could see it was reported. And I think that helps people too, because I've steered people to that early on where they said, hey, a street light is out or a sign is damaged, and they were able to look on the map and say, oh, one of my neighbors must have reported it because I can see it on there. And I think the visual tool of that helps people too, especially, I mean, even some people, I explained to a neighbor where English clearly wasn't the first language, but they got comfortable by looking at the visuals, so if they saw something, they could look on that map at the location and see the red dot, and then they were able to see, okay, somebody did report this already. So that might be something to kind of, and I appreciate you removing it if you were concerned with information and people's personal security. So that's very thankful for that. Big piece I hear is, I don't know if there's a way on the mobile version at least, or even through the email, to build out the responses. Because I do hear it's a little bit confusing where I've seen it myself, where work orders will get closed out and the follow-up message is not very informative. It just says closed. And the work hasn't been done in some instances. I don't know if that's just like a glitch or something. I think that's where we as a city need to do better. Maybe it's some internal training we need to work and kind of iron out those wrinkles. Again, it is a newly stood up product that we're using, and so far so good, but I think the communication piece on keeping residents that report in the loop could be a lot better.
That is something also in our 301 outstanding issues. One of the fixes that, one of the releases that Tyler did today, it is that they renamed the comment section to say internal and resolution. So whenever we're closing a request, they know which one it is staying within the request and which one goes out to the resident. So hopefully that increases the communication. And there are other things that we're working on to make sure, we improve communication as well. So yeah, that it is actually in our list. And going back to your point with the pothole with the visuals, that map is actually available in the portal. So if you go to the link that we provided in the response, if you go there, that map is available there, but not in the app. But it is available in the portal.
Okay, yeah, see, but that's why I'm saying hopefully we get it back online at some point if it makes sense for us in the mobile version, because again, a lot of times people are out and about and they're not sitting in front of their desktop or whatever, and so it is a little bit of a challenge. But the follow-up, and then is there a possible way to utilize, as was brought up earlier, for the city to send out a communication out explicitly, send it out to all the people that are signed up? reverse. So it would just be the only person able to access it would be the city. And gentle reminder, vote election days tomorrow or anything. VFW's closed, please remember, any of those things. Is there the capacity or capability with this app to do that in the future?
There is the capability. The product is as much as they try to make it all appear as one product, there's three products tied into this right now. So like the mobile app is really one of the reasons why we're struggling right now with a couple of things that we want feature-wise on the mobile app that we can get on the web portal, but we can't get on the mobile app is because Tyler basically bought these two companies, married them together, and is making them work. So they're still working on cleaning up a lot of things. One of the other companies they bought that got pulled into on the mobile side is a piece that allows you to do the equivalent of like notifications. So we're aware of it, but we haven't dug into it because we've been so focused on fixing these other pieces. But it is one of the things that's on our short list is the ability to identify how could we do these, I don't want to say reverse 911 type things because we have a system that does that in the city, but the ability to communicate with folks that are using the mobile app, that have downloaded it onto their phone.
Okay, I'm glad to see the capability exists, and I get it. It's still working through all of these other nuances. Question for your team. What are your thoughts for as far as working with this now that it's been stood up for about a year or so? Do you enjoy working with it? Do you think this app, the ease of flexibility and adjustment for the city, does that on your end?
I'll ask Edith to answer that. Edith has been she's interacted with every single department. She's trained all the folks in all the departments that have used it. And, initially, a lot of folks were, the individuals in the departments were very concerned because they were like, gosh, this is overwhelming, so much we have to do. And the way we positioned it was, this is allowing visibility for everybody. It's not just about transparency, though it's really about transparency so that when folks say, hey, why isn't this getting done? Well, this is what we're doing. This is the quantifiable data that shows what we've been doing. And if it's not getting done as quickly as folks would like it to get done, then the paths become pretty obvious, right? Either additional funding for something, additional personnel, et cetera. It just opens up the dialogue. We're finding that folks are using it, that it's successful. One of the things that will happen over the course of the next 6 to 9 months is more of the data collection piece, because what we wind up doing is we've started establishing a data repository. Data has to be pulled into that, and then we'll be able to generate the reports out of that for a variety of things, not just what's going on here. And then there's the integration points as we're working on a facilities product that is rolling out. It integrates into that. As we work with violations, it integrates into that. There's a lot of other things going on in the team as well, where we are actively working with rolling out new violation tools for code enforcement personnel using iPads and really integrating a lot of stuff. I think it's been successful. I think it's working well. Edith, what's your thought? Okay.
I'm glad to hear it, and again, thank you and your team, and it sounds like it was something that was long overdue, and I'm glad to see that there's not really pushback from your team's end saying, hey, this is kind of a nightmare, so.
And I will say one last comment, I'm sorry, Counselor, is just that when you look online in a lot of places where folks are constantly saying, hey, how do I do this, how do I do that, one of the themes that is picking up is very often someone will say, hey, my street light is out, how do I get it fixed? And you see the community of users out there now saying, oh, go get the 311 app, go to 311, report it there, go download it, do this, etc. So it's kind of like folks are starting to get on the bandwagon, say, hey, this is what to do, we're getting things resolved through it. So it seems to be successful in picking up steam and success out there.
Thank you. Councilor Mercia?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Through you to Maran and Edith. Very, very good. Very detailed report. Very good breakdown of all the departments. I only have one question, and it says the test department division. What's that?
Testing. When we were testing, we had to come up with something, so we called it test department, test division. It's strictly a test. We couldn't easily pull it out of the reports, so we had to leave it in there for
Because
now.
I was looking in the city hall as to where this division was. I didn't know.
No, it was strictly just for test purposes.
Okay, thank you.
Yes, Counselor.
To get you.
Thank you, Mayor Rourke. I think, Mr. Manager, if you look at this and you look at the numbers, you look at 42% of it is solid waste issues. Then you look at another piece, you look at potholes, it's 31%. If you get rid of those two things, we all can go home. It's 73% of all the issues in the city. And I think the redundancy is maybe the question, and I spoke to Moran about that. How many of those repeat calls of those 6,500 for the same place? That's really what the concern is, because you could get 5 people calling one pothole in 3 hours. So the redundancy of it could be resolved if you look at it. I want to applaud Sakari for having the district with the least amount of complaints. And downtown is followed by pretty quick, and it's working right along. And you look at some that are extremely high. I won't tell you who the worker is. But I wanted to say thank you to Sean Machado again for taking over my job, because I don't get as many phone calls anymore. But on average, when you look at the
Council
close,
motions to 311, even better.
yeah, there you go. We should do council motions on 311.
Yeah.
And we should put Councilor Robinson in charge, since he enjoys it so much, and the workers are like questioning that piece.
I'm all for that motion.
But when you look at it, 95% of it is closed out on an average of 8 days, which is pretty fast. And you look at the numbers, and you look, the most numbers come in the springtime, right after the deep thaws and the freeze thaws, and you see it went down 20% into August. So I think something's working here, even though the public is, I understand they want it done 20 minutes afterwards. But at the end of the day, I think your staff has done pretty good at getting this together, and this report is going to only get better for us so that the mayor doesn't have to stand up there and listen to this for so long. So I thank you again. I thank all of you for your hard work. I think that when you start pushing the data number again, it's going to be much, much more challenging. And if you ever need assistance for someone just to smile and enjoy it, call Councilor Robinson.
Thank you, everyone.
Great, thank you very much. Well done.
Thank you.
Motion response queue, FEMA floodplain report. That's by myself. I just have a couple of comments to make, Mr. Manager, if you get the thing up. Mr. Manager, on the flood plain report, if we could maybe send to other neighborhood groups the updated floodplain map, just so people would know about it, and also the appeal process, and maybe if the city could have a contact, just so they're not calling a department, if there's somebody that could, I'm sure there's a number of residents that would have questions about the appeal process or how to do it correctly. If we could designate someone to handle that, I think that would help. And also, I do think that getting them out to the neighborhood groups would be, I did hear from Mr. Farrier from the Highlands Neighborhood Group, they're looking for it as well. And, they would have the people in the neighborhoods that are now in the floodplain, they have to pay the extra insurance. I know Councilor Gitcher and I heard from a number of people about the increase in the insurance. And then just a general question, I know you contacted the federal delegation. Hasn't been any response yet from them? Go ahead.
Thank you very much, Mr. Mayor, through to the council. We have sent that off to the federal delegation. We're awaiting a response on that. And we will make sure that everybody knows it'll be Dylan Ricker. We'll make sure that gets out to everybody. But I just want to also notice on this that Councilor Robinson, Councilor Noon, and Councilor Mercier were somehow, might have been on a third page. So my apologies on this not being included to the Lori Trahan, Elizabeth Warren, and Ed Markey. So the real piece must have probably gone out correctly. It just wasn't processed, copied into the packet. So my apologies to, once again, Councilor Robinson, Councilor Noon, and Councilor Mercier. but your names were included indeed going into the federal government. I hope that answers. So Dylan Ricker, yes, Mr. Mayor.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just looking at the appeal process, right? It, it puts a lot of pressure on the resident. I'm not sure I would go through this process. That's why I think if there's somebody that could assist throughout the, how to do it and the right way to do it. Again, I'm sure I can give you a handful of names of people just in Pawtuckaville that would love to have someone help them through this. Councilor Robinson, good.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Mayor, for filing this. And again, please, on the informational session, if we can also include and take a peek at, over in Centerville, over by Beaver Street and on that whole area is also considered part of the floodplain. So if we have any residents that are stuck and struggling over there, I think it'd be great to get the information over to them too. Thank you.
Yeah, I know the initial report had a bunch of new addresses that were involved. Again, if that, as much as detailed as it could be to the neighborhood groups, I think that would help. Any other comments? Nope. Thank you very much. Motion for response R, updated noise ordinance. Councilor Janess.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Would like to thank the administration for the quick response on this. I look forward to seeing this implemented. And as I spoke with you guys before the meeting, there may be other things we need to do, not necessarily noise related, but one of the biggest impetus for me filing this request was repeated offenses by various trash haulers coming into the city and emptying dumpsters before 7 a.m. when they're supposed to. Unfortunately, today we can see that had some safety impacts as well. So I don't know if there's anything we can do to kind of raise the bar for our trash haulers when they're operating within the city to try and make things as safe as possible. I'm not blaming the driver for this morning's incident. I want to be clear on that. But it was certainly a tragic outcome in our city, and so making sure the trash trucks are operating when the sun's up probably will help with that. So thank you for this, and I look forward to getting the updated noise ordinance on the books.
Councilor Yam.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. If I may request that the administration do public education to the residents that the noise ordinance is 7 a.m. because someone filed a complaint that the truck was 8 o'clock in the morning, but the ordinance is allowed 7 a.m. So we may need to educate our residents about the noise ordinance, when should start and when should stop. So that's just my comment. Thank you.
Excellent. All right. Motion to, official reports up next. 7.2, delegation support for senior tax exemption, H3102. Mr. Manager.
Thank you. Excuse me. Thank you very much, Mr. Manager. Sorry, it's been a long night. Thank you very much, Mr. Mayor, through you to the council.
No chance. No chance.
No chance. So I apologize, councilors. It's been quite a day. But this is a letter that the council has asked us to put together to Representative Howard Elliott and Representative Hong in support of House Bill 3102. That was sent.
Great. Second official report, front runner, Ms. DPD Manager Giovanni Baez-Rose.
Thank you. Yeah, this was just really a summary for councilors that and the public to get a sense of what has been going on with Front Runner City. Since the formal announcement in Geneva, there has been additional work that's been underway, and we've got more work ahead of us. So this was an opportunity to sort of summarize kind of where we've been. We had a really exciting announcement in Geneva, as the manager previously said. It has generated interest in the city of Lowell. We've had people reaching out to us about, their interest in investment and development here in the city, which is really exciting. We've been working really closely with the folks at the UEF to plan a rollout for how this project is going to sort of work and how this partnership will continue. So there have been working meetings in person, and the group's going to have, pending a vote tonight, an opportunity next week to sort of be more specific and talk about the area of focus that we're really hoping to see investment in, and really drive the point home that there are lots of opportunities here in the city, and the specific kind of places and projects that we're looking hopefully to get some investment in. So it's exciting. It's been a lot of work and a lot of different sort of planning and meetings and those kinds of things, but I think we're starting to see traction from the effort that's been put in so far.
Thank you, Councilor Janess.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Just want to say thank you for this report. It's really exciting, and we're going to see a lot come out of this, it feels, and so I really am looking forward to that. And I did want to ask, is there a way that, and this may already be in the works, I don't know, is there a way that either we as the city or the UEF or some combination thereof can create a web portal, basically, that we could point residents at that says, what we're doing, what's been accomplished so far, what's in the hopper, because I'm still getting a lot of questions from folks. What is the Front Runner City, and where can I learn more about it? So if we have that kind of information repository that we could stand up and share with folks, I think that might go a long way to helping people really understand the transformative nature of this project. Thank you.
One of the things I brought up when Catherine Moses and myself were up there last week or 2 weeks ago, they want to establish a dashboard. Yeah, I mean, it's still a little ways away. There's got to be some work on it. It's going to take a lot of work on DPD's part for data collection and entry and stuff like that. But we did a lot. We praised the 311 people and earlier and stuff like that. But I just want to really, I know everybody on the council knows this, but the work that DPD, Giovanni, and Camilo have done on this has just been outstanding. And there have been things that have been asked of us in a 24-hour turnaround that has been done. We have really pushed this hard over the past few months, and without basically the brilliance of DPD putting these things together. I know some of the council has seen some of the project designs that we did showcase in Toronto last week. It was televised, it was streamed, I should say. It's really exciting stuff, and I would imagine next week, hopefully for me the last time I'm up there, we have the announcement of what's coming first, and it's really exciting. It's not just housing. It's commercial, it's businesses. We have an exciting opportunity, to bring a large company into the city of Lowell. We have been given that okay, Mr. Manager, to go ahead and to look into something like that. So, it's a lot going on, but we would not be here right now if it was not for Giovanni Baez-Rose and Camilo Esposito and all their work. So, I just want to acknowledge what they're doing. Any other comments? Great. I need a motion to accept the place on file by Councilor Mercia, second by Councilor Yem. All in favor, say aye. Opposed, motion passes. Councilor Mercia.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. If we could bundle 7.3, 5, 6, and 7.
Yes. Second by Councilor Newman. We will do that. 7.3 is just to place on file, and then we'll bundle the rest because they are roll call votes. Yep. 7.3, communication resignations of members of various boards and commissions. Motion to accept the place on file by Councilor Mercia, second by Councilor Noon. All in favor say aye. Opposed, motion passes. 7.5, communication reappoint various boards and commissions. 7.6, communication of city manager to request approval out-of-state travel, one for LPD. 7.7, communication of city manager to request out-of-state travel for the Front Runner Community Initiative Program for the city manager and DPD and one city council. I need a motion to adopt by Councilor Scott, second by Councilor Gitchia. Roll call, Mr. Clerk.
Mayor Rourke.
Yes.
Councilor Scott.
Yes.
Councilor Yem.
Yes.
Councilor Belanger.
Yes.
Councilor Chow. Yes. Councilor Dakota.
Yes.
Councilor Getchia.
Yes.
Councilor Janess.
Yes.
Councilor Mercia.
Yes.
Councilor Noon.
Yes.
Councilor Robinson.
Yes.
11 yeas.
8, votes for the city manager. 8.1, votes to accept the gift of $5,202.48 from Franco-American Veterans Organization. 8.2, vote to accept and expend $495,624 FRCARA grant. And 8.3, a vote to exemption of Mary Beth McKinney, Mass General Law 268A 20. Need a motion to adopt by Councilor Robinson, seconded by Councilor Yem. Roll call, Mr. Clerk.
Mayor Rourke.
Yes.
Before that, Mr. Mayor, may I just quickly touch on 8.1?
Sure.
While we're on the veteran, I didn't have a chance to ask our CFO on the 7.2 about the tax exempt. My question is that when was the last time a veteran tax benefit was updated? You know, I didn't have a chance to ask a 7.2, but I'm sorry to put you on the spot. You don't have to answer right now, but
CFO?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. We will get you an exact date, but I know that the council did adopt the provisions of the HERO Act,
Right.
which was, I believe, the most recent state. We can only go as high as the state allows us to go in terms of a veteran's exemption. And there are a few different ones. There are exemptions for those who have served. There are additional exemptions for veterans that may have a disability, et cetera. And so those are all set at different levels. But I believe with the adoption of the HERO Act, we have increased the level, and we'll provide a report to the council with all that information from the assessor's office.
thank you.
Mr. Clerk?
Mayor Rourke.
Yes.
Council Scott.
Yes.
Council Yem. Council Belanger.
Yes.
Council Chow.
Yes.
Council Dakota.
Yes.
Council Getchia.
Yes.
Council Janice.
Yes.
Council Mercia.
Yes.
Council Noon.
Yes.
Council Robinson.
Yes.
11 yeas.
Ordinance 9.1 to amend Chapter 204 noise. Need a motion to refer a public hearing on October 21st, 2025 by Councilor Yem, seconded by Councilor Janice. All those in favor say aye. Opposed, motion passes. 9.2 is an ordinance to amend the fee schedule for falsified documents. Refer to a public hearing on October 21st, 2025 at 7 p.m. by Councilor Getchia, seconded by Councilor Chow. All those in favor say aye. Opposed, motion passes. 10.2, we have numerous wire inspector reports from September 23rd, 2025. They are as follows. A motion to accept them all by Councilor Getchia, seconded by Councilor Mercia. All those in favor say aye. Opposed, motion passes. 11 petitions. 11.1 is one property injury claim. Motion to refer to Law Department for report recommendation by Councilor Belanger, seconded by Councilor Dakota. All those in favor say aye. Opposed, motion passes. 11.2, miscellaneous. Dennis Cole requests installation of one handicap parking sign at 78 Cosgrove Street. Motion to refer to the Transportation Department, engineer for report by Councilor Scott, seconded by Councilor Robinson. All those in favor say aye. Opposed, motion passes. 11.3 we already took care of. 12, City Council executive session to consider and discuss the purchase, exchange, lease, and value of real property, the Senior Center, 276 Broadway Street. Public discussion of which may have detrimental effect on the negotiating position of the city, and further consider and discuss the purchase, exchange, lease, or value of real properties, 5th Baker Center, 400 Market Street. Public discussion of which could have detrimental effect on the city's position. Motion to enter executive session and to adjourn from that session by Councilor Mercia, second by Councilor Noon. Roll call, Mr. Clerk.
Mayor Rourke.
Yes.
Council Scott.
Yes.
Council Yem.
Yes.
Council Belanger.
Yes.
Council Chow.
Yes.
Council Dakota.
Yes.
Council Getchia.
Yes.
Council Janice.
Yes.
Council Mercia.
Yes.
Council Noon.
Yes.
Council Robinson.
Yes.
Any announcements?
Yes.
Councilor Mercia.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. The Bridge Club of Greater Lowell presents its Person of the Year, which is Karen Frederick, and it's at Lindsay's Thursday, October 9th, from 6 to whatever time you want to stay, I guess. Guest speaker, Derek Sanderson, and so everyone is welcome. Tickets can be bought at the door. Thank you so much.
Excellent. A motion on Kendra. All right. See you in a minute.